Part 72. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 723. Boom. The thunder that filled the sky turned into endless lightning, instantly penetrating the world. In an instant, the sky was filled with silvery white. When everything calmed down, Yu Xiang, wearing a battle armor and a majestic appearance, was revealed in the clouds. The latter suddenly opened his eyes, and the whole body was filled with thunder. He jumped up, the thunder exploded, and the figure disappeared instantly. When he appeared again, he was already thousands of feet away. Feeling the changes in his body with excitement, he waved Fang Tian's painted halberd in his palm, and with a bang sound, a thunder divine halberd that was completely condensed with thunder and stretched hundreds of feet across appeared in the air. My strength now is 100 times what it was before the tribulation. After taking a deep breath to calm down the excitement in his heart, he put away the Qinglong armor and Fang Tian painting halberd, and flew down. After seeing the stone house on the top of the mountain, I fell down. After entering the house, he clasped his fists and bowed with an excited tone. Master, my disciple luckily succeeded in overcoming the tribulation and advanced to the Yuan mysterious realm. Su Junming, who was sitting cross-legged on the stone bed, smiled and nodded. In fact, with Yu Xiang's cultivation level, he could have advanced 3 years ago. But before, his character was not good enough and he lacked polish, so he was suppressed all the time. In the past 3 years, this son has continued to refine his magic power and temper his physical body, and his foundation has become deeper and deeper. Overcoming the tribulation again will naturally be accomplished in one fell swoop. No need to be polite, just get up. Thank you, Patriarch. Looking at Yu Xiang, who is more stable and mature than 3 years ago, he nodded with satisfaction. Although in terms of qualifications and understanding, he is not at the top among the 3 generations of Chongshan disciples. But in terms of character and perseverance, he is outstanding. Opening his palms, a bunch of yellow sand flew towards Yu Xiang. This is the emery I retrained for you. Can you take advantage of it? Yu Xiang took it in his hand and took a look. 6 paths immortal forbidden. This treasure was first made from the sacred black sand in Dongchuan city gods Yanlu who died in his hands 3 years ago. It was originally a defensive immortal weapon with 2 immortal prohibitions. It was only 7 days ago that Su Junming went to practice again. Try it. Su Junming smiled. Yu Xiang input mana in anticipation, and after a little practice, he carefully understood the magical effect of the new restriction. A bunch of yellow sand was twisting and turning in his hand, sometimes like a snake, winding and circling, sometimes like a ball, flying sand covered the top. After a while. Thank you, Grandmaster, for your wonderful hand. Yu Xiang said happily. At first, his emery could only be used for protection, but now it can be used for both offense and defense, with more mysteries. Moreover, the defense power has also been increased dozens of times. As long as you are satisfied. This emery can be used as a gift from Master to congratulate you on your advancement to Yuan Shen. Huh. Yu Xiang, who was about to express his thanks again, turned to ask, Master, what's wrong? He frowned slightly, after a moment. Xiang take my bamboo stick and go 6,000 miles northeast to rescue the old woman. With a wave of his hand, the green bamboo staff, which he usually used to drive away snakes and peel away grass, and which had been by his side since Uncle Ju's world, flew into Yu Xiang's hand. Disciple, obey. He took the staff with both hands, and after leaving the stone house, he raised a bolt of lightning and flew toward the southeast like lightning. Lei Dun was already fast, and the 6,000 miles journey was random, but he arrived in less than half a quarter of an hour. Sure enough, there is a big war going on here. On one side is an old woman wearing a ge robe, holding a dragon-headed crutch, and a magic sword flying with wanton aura beside her, with a bright head and a childlike face. Judging from her cultivation, she has already reached the middle stage of true immortal. On the other side, one is tall and one is short, and one is a monk. The monk held a goose-egg thick iron Zen staff, and when he waved it, golden light flashed, and endless vigor flew. It is obvious that one has entered the state of transformation after understanding the way of Zhengjin. And the Taoist was holding a handle of white floating dust, and he didn't know what it was made of. The white filaments could be long or short, as long as the sky and the earth, and when broken, they were as hard as diamonds. They were also extremely tough, and even the sharp sword energy could not cut them off. The monks and Taoists, all of whom were in the middle stage of true immortal cultivation, surrounded the old woman like a revolving lantern to attack and kill her. Judging from the way they took action, they looked like they were determined to fight. Although Chixian Shenzhou, as the middle thousand world, weakens the spiritual consciousness of the monks much more than the small thousand world, the spiritual consciousness of the true immortal monks is still spread over 5,000 miles. Therefore, they all noticed Yu Xiang flying quickly. But seeing that his cultivation level was only Yuan Shen, he didn't pay much attention to it. I thought he would stay thousands of miles away knowingly after seeing the majesty of the people fighting. Who would have thought that this kid would fly straight over like a newborn calf that is not afraid of tigers? My little friend, this is not a kind place. Please leave quickly. The old woman in Japeo said loudly. Senior, don't worry. I'm here to save my senior from trouble. You brat, you, a junior who has just become a soul, dare to make such arrogant remarks. You really don't know how to live or die, Tao Chuo said sarcastically. Yu Xiang smiled lightly and did not waste any time. He only threw the 12-section bamboo stick in his right hand, which seemed to be carved from jasper and had a provocative green color, into the air. In an instant, the green light surged. The vast green wood energy even suppressed the scorching sun in the sky. Even the old woman in GE robe closed her eyes subconsciously. The green wood divine light immediately retreated, transformed into a 12-section green bamboo staff, and slowly fell into Yu Xiang's hands. He took it respectfully and held it in his right hand. Looking at the shocked old woman. Senior. The old woman, who came back to her senses, quickly put away her magic sword and bowed to salute. Pan Liapo thanks Senior for saving his life. At this moment, she regarded Yu Xiang as a senior in the spiritual world who liked to pretend to be a pig and eat the tiger. Senior Pan has misunderstood. I am just a soul cultivator. I am here to save you on the order of the ancestor. After suddenly understanding. I wonder if you can tell me the name of the founder of your sect? Pan Liapo would like to thank him in person for his life-saving grace. My master is called True Lord Chongshan. As for meeting, bring her here. Su Junming's voice rang in his ears. Disciple, obey. Turned. Senior Pan, please come with me. Thank you. After following Yu Xiang for more than 5,000 miles, a stone house on the top of the mountain appeared in front of him. Pan Liapo, who had never known the true monarch of Chongshan, wanted to know why this man would save her. The spiritual energy of this place is barren, and I don't even think of a fairy land or a blessed land. This stone house is not a treasure from the cave. How could someone so powerful open a dojo here? Could it be an ascetic monk? With many questions, Yu Xiang fell into the yard. Master, Senior Pan has already arrived. Come in. A gentle voice came from it. Yes. Senior, please come in. Pan Liapo nodded, took a breath, and stepped in. It is a very spacious large stone house with clear views from north to south. Apart from a few futons, there is no other furniture or furnishings. On the east side, a tall Taoist wearing a green Taoist robe, with a green gourd hanging around his waist, and his long hair hanging casually behind his head, appeared in front of him. Although there was no trace of cultivation on him at all, the vicissitudes of life in his deep eyes gave him an extraordinary temperament. He took 2 steps forward and bowed to salute. Pan Liapo thanks Senior for saving his life. Do you have a disciple in the lower realm called Yuluan? Pan Liapo was shocked and nodded quickly. Senior, does he know my evil disciple? We have met several times. She and my 3 disciples are close friends. I also saw your portrait from her, so I just asked Xiang to help you get out of trouble. Now Pan Liapo finally understood why she was able to turn disaster into good fortune. I dare to ask, Senior, how are my disciples who stayed in Shushan world doing today? Don't worry, she's fine. In fact, Yuluan had already become an immortal and ascended to heaven. However, what she ascended to was not the spiritual world, but the Chongshan world that became the middle 1,000 worlds. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 724. Chapter 705, Qingyang Mountain, all the immortals compete for the treasure. Senior, can you tell me the whereabouts of my disciple Yuluan so that my master and disciple can be reunited? From Pan Liapo's point of view, Su Junming could defeat the crazy monk with a cultivation level similar to hers with just a bamboo stick, and his strength was at least that of a Xianxian. His disciple must be an immortal. If he can become close friends with the other disciple, Yuluan will naturally become an immortal. As the saying goes, dragons do not live with snakes. It is impossible for people with 2 different cultivation levels to become close friends. Facing Pan Liapo's earnest eyes, Su Junming smiled faintly. Your disciple is still in the lower realm of Shushan Mountain and has not yet ascended. Not ascended yet. Pan Liapo was stunned. After slightly nodding, you know the rules of the Lingkong immortal realm. Yuluan doesn't have enough merit. If he wants to be free, he can only rely on his own cultivation. She is also ambitious. She has to cultivate to become a true immortal before she can ascend, so she is still practicing hard in the lower realm. The existence of Chongshan world cannot be told to an outsider. Therefore, Su Junming temporarily made up such an excuse. I see. Luaner has indeed lived up to my hard work. The biggest purpose of trapping Yuluan in the fire cave was to temper her mental perseverance, and punishment was only secondary. Now it seems that everything is as she expected. After going through hardships, Yuluan became a true spiritual seed. Thank you, Senior, for informing me. He waved his hand. You're welcome. But why are you being hunted down here? If you are in trouble, I can help you. Yuluan and Xiao Shaoxin were close friends, and because of their friendship, he was not stingy in helping Pan Lupo. Moreover, this person has many merits and virtues and is also a righteous person. I thanked him first and hesitated for a moment. Senior, do you know Shaiji? But tens of thousands of years ago in this world, the one who competed with Xiahao for the position of Emperor of Heaven and was defeated, had his limbs chopped off, and was sealed in Qingyang Mountain. Exactly. Shaiji was once the master of the Kishan Cave in southern Xinjiang, commanding hundreds of millions of Wu clan warriors. It was not until he was sealed that the Blood God Cave and the Wuman Cave were separated from each other and became today. Nanzao's Shangsan Cave is juxtaposed with Kishan Cave. It is rumored that Shaiji is carrying the most powerful witch god battle axe among the 3 treasures of the Kishan Cave. This treasure cannot be used without the blood of the witch clan, so it was originally sealed in Qingyang Mountain by Xiahao. Because of the large formation arranged by Xiahao himself, no one has dared to take advantage of the Wu clan's treasure in Qingyang Mountain for tens of thousands of years. It just so happened that last month, within thousands of miles of Qingyang Mountain, the Earth Dragon turned over, causing a flaw in the original seal. The rich ancient innate spiritual energy turned into 5 colors above Qingyang Mountain, and the candle shone thousands of miles away, causing a sensation in the world. It attracted countless monks. On the way to Qingyang Mountain, this junior met the crazy monk and took action because of the past festival. Su Junming smiled calmly. This Pan Liapo is really shrewd. After saying so much, he didn't ask her why she was being hunted. Instead, he told her everything about Qingyang Mountain. It was obvious that he was repaying his kindness and using treasure clues to repay his life-saving grace. Since the witch god's battle axe cannot be used without the blood of the witch clan, why are you rushing to go there? Senior, I don't know. Back then, in order to seal Sci-Shaiji, Xiahao had set up 3 major formations in Qingyang Mountain. The top items of each major formation were the most precious treasures in the world, especially the last major formation, which was based on innate spiritual treasures. Hold the line. Once the formation is broken, the 3 treasures will naturally become ownerless. When the time comes, of course only those who are destined will get them. I see. Where is Qingyang Mountain? A glimmer of light flashed in Pan Liapo's eyes. Lu County in the north is 36,000 miles away. After nodding slightly, are you coming with us, or do you have other arrangements? Qingyang Mountain will definitely be crowded with immortals at this moment. I don't dare to be greedy for treasures. I just plan to broaden my horizons. In that case, then come with me. Su Junming waved his sleeves. Pan Liapo only felt a lightness under her feet, and her eyes suddenly darkened. When she looked again, the world had changed before her eyes. Looking at the vast mountains below her feet, which looked like giant dragons lying prone, Pan Liapo always felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity. When she saw the giant peak rising from the ground like a trident in the middle of the mountain range, arrogating the crowd, she was so shocked that she blurted out, "Qingyang Mountain! How can this be?" With a face full of shock, he looked at the figure in front of him, with his hands behind his back and wearing a green robe. Although it was only 9 feet tall, Pan Liapo felt great in her heart. The other party's cultivation level was much higher than she expected. He could cross 36,000 miles in an instant. This kind of magical power completely exceeded Pan Liapo's imagination. Is this Qingyang Mountain? Ah, oh, exactly. Pan Liapo came back to her senses and said quickly, the trident-like peak is the main peak of Qingyang Mountain, the Sancha Ridge, and it is also the place where Sci-Shaiji was suppressed. Su Junming nodded and said, let's go and have a look. He urged the escape light to fly forward, and Pan Liapo and Yu Xiang quickly followed. Different from Pan Liapo's shock, Yu Xiang, who has been by Su Junming's side, has long been accustomed to the ancestors' magical powers. In the past 3 years or so, no matter what kind of difficulties we encountered, the founder solved them easily. The closer we get to the Sancha Ridge, the surrounding areas are of different strengths and weaknesses, and there are more and more unpredictable auras. The closer you go to the outside, the weaker it gets, and the closer you look to the inside, the stronger it gets. When approaching the last 500 miles, the surrounding aura has reached the realm of true immortality. Stop it! Following the loud shouting, a middle-aged Taoist priest carrying a magic sword on his back and stepping on the escape light quickly flew over and blocked the path of the 3 of them. After quickly scanning the 3 of them, his eyes focused on Su Junming. Although he couldn't feel the slightest aura of cultivation in this person, being able to move the sky and control the wind was an ability that only came from cultivation. And looking at Pan Liapo, who is in the middle stage of true immortal, and Yu Xiang, who is in the early stage of Yuan Shen next to him, with him as the leader, we know that this person has extraordinary cultivation, and he has a treasure that can cover his aura. 3 people. Under the order of the Immortal Court, in order to prevent the Wu tribe from destroying the seal, the Song Dynasty Court, Tianqi Tao, Chunyang Sect, Shenxiao Tao, and Kongtong Sect were ordered to block Sancha Mountain. Unless there is a warrant from the Immortal Court, no one is allowed inside. Violators will be severely punished by Xianting, Song Dynasty, Tianqi Tao, Chunyang Sect, Shenxiao Tao, and Kongtong sect. At the end of his words, his tone suddenly became stern. They are all smart people and will understand as soon as they hear this. These top forces in the Yellow Emperor's immortal domain, with the Golden Immortal at their command, have monopolized the treasures in Qingyang Mountain and do not allow outsiders to get involved. Although this high-sounding reason can only deceive fools. But with absolute strength, it will not stop outsiders from competing for your treasures. But I am very curious, between the Taoist Golden Immortal and the high-ranking witch general of the Wu clan, who is more powerful? Be stronger, Su Junming said calmly. What nonsense are you talking about? Nonsense? Haha, look. The middle-aged Taoist priest turned around subconsciously. There was nothing else going on except for the formations jointly arranged by various sects to prevent outsiders from getting their hands on the treasure. I was furious, and I was about to turn around and teach that ignorant guy a lesson. In an instant, the heat wave was rolling. A gigantic blue-gray axe, mixed with astonishing energy and blood, slashed down with a crash. Boom! A giant five-color bowl tens of thousands of feet in length protects Sancha Ridge in the middle. When the 1,000-foot giant axe collided with the giant bowl, the latter's light surged. Immediately afterwards, a harsh sound of cracking silk was heard. Just a moment later, there was a bang and it shattered. Swish, a magnificent golden sword energy soared into the sky. The powerful light swept tens of thousands of feet around, causing everyone to subconsciously close their eyes. The deafening roar, accompanied by powerful air waves, was like a Category 12 hurricane, crushing all around crazily. The clouds within 10,000 feet were swept away, and the entire sky was extremely clear. Su Junming waved his hand, and the air wave that was enough to blow away the real immortal disappeared in an instant after reaching 3 feet away from him. Seeing this scene, Pan Liapo secretly breathed a sigh of relief. She felt more and more that the senior in the spiritual world who was kind to her was not as simple as a mysterious immortal. Ha ha ha. Accompanied by heroic laughter, a giant man holding a bronze axe, nearly 10 feet tall and wearing a tiger skin around his waist appeared in mid-air. His naked bronze upper body was tangled with muscles, his thick legs were like 2 iron pillars, extremely strong. The most eye-catching thing is that on this person, from his back to his front, there is a tattoo of a strange beast that looks like a giant tiger with its teeth and claws. The ferocious appearance and sharp claws made this strong man even more evil. Li Wuji, your pure yang sword qi is still so soft. It seems that you haven't made much progress in the past 500 years. Si Zhan, why don't you stay in your Qingyun mountain and come to my central plains? A young man wearing a golden robe, a jade crown on his head, and a sword on his back appeared in mid-air. Judging from his expression, it was obvious that he was extremely wary of the strong man. You know what you are asking, but the witch god battle axe is the treasure of my Qi Shen cave. As the 6th cave master of Qi Shen cave, of course I want to welcome this treasure back to the witch clan. The witch god's battle axe is a trophy of my immortal court. How can you allow your witch clan to take it back? A warrior wearing golden armor and holding a spear said loudly. Si Zhan narrowed his eyes and his face turned cold. Without saying much, he raised the battle axe in his hand and chopped Huashan with a simple force. Boom, the vast energy and blood, accompanied by the tyrannical sharp energy, turned into something thousands of feet tall. Li Wuji's face changed drastically when he looked at the giant axe that could split mountains apart. He squeezed the sword technique with his hand and activated his magic power fiercely. The vast pure yang sword energy rose into the sky like a volcano erupting. The golden armored warrior next to him waved his spear. The sharp white energy is like an angry wave, rolling forward. A more violent collision sounded than before, and the surging air waves filled the sky and the earth, and the scope of the disaster was getting wider and wider. Boom! Thunder rolled, and dark purple thunder fell from the sky. Lin Ling Su, I didn't expect you to come too. With a swing of the giant axe, he cut off the thunder. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 725. Chapter 706, Golden Immortal Tribulation, Vast Thunder. Si Jean, retreat. There are 3 of us here today, and you can't take away the witch god's battle axe. A young figure wearing a white robe, with thunder rolling around him, as if the god of thunder had descended into the world, appeared in the air. Just the 3 of you can't stop me. What if you add me to it? An old Taoist wearing a purple Taoist robe and holding Fukin appeared in mid-air. Tianchi Dao Zhang Xiaoyang. Seeing that it was not the figure he was in awe of, Si Jean breathed a sigh of relief. The 4 of you join forces. Although I, Si Jean, are not afraid, I cannot take away the witch god's battle axe. But I am not here alone today. Along with the strong energy and blood, a strong figure who was over 10 feet tall, with long hair hanging casually on the back of his head, a leopard skin around his waist, and a temperament similar to Si Jean appeared in mid-air. But unlike Si Jean's big axe, what he was holding was a black giant knife nearly 2 feet long. At the same time, a tall and thin figure wearing a black robe, with a cold breath, riding on a giant blue snake also appeared. The faces of Li Wuji, Zhang Xiaoyang, and others on the opposite side suddenly changed. Zhong Weng, the master of the Blood God Cave, and Lao Snake, the master of the Wuman Cave. Aren't there always conflicts between the 3 caves in Nanzhao Kingdom of southern Xinjiang? How did they get together this time? Seeing this scene, people who knew the identities of the 3 people started talking a lot. Everyone, the 3 of us have no intention to be enemies with you, but the witch god battle axe is the most precious treasure of our witch clan. No matter what, I will take it back this time, Si Zhanhong said in a loud voice. Li Wuji and others' expressions changed before they could make up their minds. But I saw the Buddha's light rising to the sky in the west, followed by the rich fragrance of sandalwood, mixed with the increasingly clear Buddhist chants, coming loudly. Namo Amitabha, all the treasures in the world can be obtained by those who are destined, not to mention that the war axe of the shaman god is originally a thing of the shaman clan. Fellow Taoists claim that they are the true sect of the Taoist sect and the famous sect in the world, so they should not occupy other people's treasures. Otherwise, if it spreads, wouldn't it make everyone in the world laugh at you? An old monk wearing a red cassock suddenly appeared in mid-air as if he had changed his form. The Great Cloud Temple in Western Xia presides over the Kongxiang Divine Monk. Su Junming's eyes moved slightly. He was no stranger to Daun Temple. The mad monk who was reincarnated after being captured by him in the Shushan world was a member of this sect. I don't know, when did the Wu clan wear the same pants as the Buddhists? Lin Lingsu said sarcastically. Amitabha, what Master Lin said is wrong. You need to know that all practitioners in the world are from the same family, Kongxiang said. Really? 3,000 years ago, that's not what you said when Daun Temple joined forces with Jingguang Temple and Qinglong Temple to kill the previous cave master of Wuman Cave, Wu Zhen, in the snowy mountains, Zhang Xiaoyang said. The expressions of Zhong Weng, Lai Shi Lao, Si Zhan, and Kongxiang suddenly changed, especially Li Shi Lao. Wu Zhen was her senior brother. However, I am concerned that it is now time for the 5 emperors to change their positions. Recapturing the witch god's battle axe is related to the stability of Nanzhao, as well as the survival of the witch clan and the inheritance of the Wuman cave during the 3,000 years of killings, so she had to put aside her grudge. In the Lingkong immortal world, every time like this, a new round of battle for hegemony will break out in order to compete for the throne of the 5 emperors. And it's not just the fight for the throne of the 5 emperors, but also the war between the immortal realms. Because everyone discovered that although the status of the 5 emperors doubled everyone's cultivation, it would not allow them to take the last step. On the contrary, only by unifying Chixi and Shenzhou and gathering the spirit of the spiritual world in one state can we, like Taihao, Shaihao, Deu, etc., take the final step and achieve great power in the Tai realm. Therefore, in order to achieve this goal, the period of 3,000 years during which the 5 emperors fought for the throne was also the most chaotic time in the spiritual world. This is also where the murders and calamities of Qi County Shenzhou are located. Old man Zhang, stop talking nonsense. If you don't return my witch god's battle axe today, I won't be done with you. A gloomy and angry voice sounded. It was the master of the Wheelman cave hidden in the black robe. Amitabha. After Kong Xiang uttered the Buddha's name, the Buddha's light all over his body soared into the sky, and the tyrannical Buddha's power, like the Yangtze River, pressed directly towards Zhang Xiaoyang and the 4 of them. Please 4 of you please be accommodating. SI Zhan and Zhong Weng were also full of energy and were ready to attack if they disagreed. The faces of Zhang Xiaoyang and the 4 others became ugly. Although the various sects don't know these golden immortals, the rest still have to stay on one side to guard against the 2 countries of Jin and Liao, as well as the 4 sea areas. Coupled with the fact that they are practicing in seclusion, there are not enough manpower available to support them at the moment. Moreover, the 4 of them could not have imagined that in order to regain the witch god's battle axe, the 3 witches, Si Zhan, Zhong Wen, and Lai Shi Lao, would come in full force. And it also united with the Kongxiang of Daun Temple. However, if the people of the witch clan get back the witch god battle axe, their strength will be even higher. In the future, it will be more difficult to pacify the southern border and unify the world. This goes against the original intention of each faction. Therefore, the situation on the field became stalemate for a while. Xiang take her back thousands of miles for now. Disciple, obey. Although he didn't know what the founder was going to do, Yu Xiang, who had always been full of confidence in Su Junming's strength, said nothing. Senior Pan, please come with me. Looking at the majestic figure in front of her, Pan Liapo pursed her lips, but in the end she didn't dare to ask anything. He bowed slightly to Su Junming's back, turned around and flew away. Wait until the 2 are far enough apart. Su Junming smiled faintly, opened his arms, and stretched his muscles. Looking at the confused middle-aged monk next to him, he waved his right hand casually, and the tyrannical magic power caught the opponent and flew thousands of miles away in an instant. His move instantly attracted the attention of the golden immortals around him. Who is this person? Zhang Xiaoyang asked in surprise. I don't know, but my magic power is very deep among Xianxian. Before Lin Lingsu could finish her words, she felt an extremely powerful mana rising into the sky like an angry dragon. Everyone's expressions changed drastically. Whether it was the 4 Taoists or the masters of the 3 caves of the Wu clan, including Kong Xiang, they flew straight into the distance as if their buttocks were on fire. Not only them, but the disciples of various sects who were originally stationed near Sancha Ridge seemed to have exploded, and they were frantically activating the escape light and fleeing into the distance. Lin Lingsu and others stopped after they had left Wanli. Looking at the black clouds of calamity rolling in, everyone's expressions turned ugly. Who is that person, who dares to choose to survive the tribulation here? Zhang Xiaoyang said angrily. If he had come out slower just now and was locked by the heavenly tribulation, not only would the person who had overcome the tribulation be unlucky, but they would also be in grave misfortune. Serious injuries are minor, and a bad person will die here. Everyone looked at each other with questions on their faces. It seems that no one knows this person, Lin Lingsu said. No matter what purpose he has in overcoming the tribulation here, if it succeeds, there will be another world-beating golden immortal among our human race. Yang Ye, holding a golden gun, smiled. Unlike other sect disciples such as Lin Lingsu, Zhang Xiaoyang, and Li Wuji, he is a divine general in heaven who maintains the divine power of the immortal court and the stability of the world. What I am most happy to see is the improvement of the human race's strength. The heavenly tribulation of the Golden Immortal is extraordinary. Only one person in 100 can successfully survive this tribulation. Otherwise, over the years, there would not be only 32 Golden Immortals in the entire Qi County. Shenzhou Zhang Xiaoyang shook his head. While talking, the sky darkened. Within a radius of thousands of miles, thick black lead clouds covered the sky. An indescribable depressing atmosphere spread across the world. Everyone has survived the Golden Immortal tribulation, so they naturally understand that this is a sign of the first thunder tribulation falling. Concerned about the result, they all closed their mouths and looked towards the center of thunder. Boom! At this time, the first thunder struck down. The vast blue-white electric light instantly illuminated the world. The thunderbolt, which was hundreds of feet thick, was like a giant knife in the hand of the god of thunder, piercing deeply into the ground. Bathed in the thunder, Su Junming, whose physical cultivation had already reached the level of a high-level shaman general and had been polished for many years, experienced the first thunder of the Golden Immortal tribulation again. He felt like there were countless ants crawling on his body. It was a little itchy, but not at all pain. It seems that this first thunderbolt is of little use to my body. With a thought in his heart, a large green drum flew out from the top door, followed by a vast devouring power. Like a cow drinking water, all the thunder in the sky was absorbed. Lin Lingsu looked shocked as she looked at the huge blue drum with a diameter of hundreds of feet, entwined by thunder in the air. What a powerful thunder weapon! As the founder of Shenxiao Dao, his Thunder Dao cultivation is at the top of the world. His natal magical weapon, the Nine Elder Gods Thunder Seal, is the most powerful Thunder Dao treasure, second only to the treasure of the Zhenxiao sect, the Heavenly Thunder Chisel. I never thought that here today, I would see a powerful person from the Thunder Dao who was not a disciple of Shenxiao Dao. Especially the big drum, it is definitely a thunder weapon forbidden by the 12 Immortals. If this person can be included in my divine heaven path, then with the combined strength of the three of us, we can surpass the Heavenly Master Dao and become the #1 sect in the world. Call. Vast, shocking flames soared into the sky. Even thousands of miles away, one can clearly feel the scorching heat burning the sky and boiling the sea. After the fierce fire comes the bone-corrosive wind. The Golden Immortal Heavenly Tribulation is also called the 79 Heavenly Tribulations. In addition to wind, fire and thunder, there are also metal, wood, earth, and inner demon tribulations, a total of 9 rounds and 73 paths. At first, when Su Junming passed the third round, everyone's expressions did not change much. But when he passed the 5th round of Heavenly Tribulation, everyone who knew something about the Golden Immortal Tribulation changed their expressions. Especially the 3 people from the Wu clan. This person has such a strong body. Zhonwang said in surprise. Many Taoist monks also polish their bodies, and it is not difficult for the best among them to survive 2 or 3 celestial tribulations with their bodies. But if you can cross the 5th level, it is only possible for warrior generals from the witch race like them who specialize in cultivating the physical body, or immortal generals from the human race, Vajra from the Buddhist sect, or demon generals from the demon race. He's far from reaching his limit. Grandma Liache stared at it for a moment and then said. Looking at the undamaged green robe on the other party's body, Zhonwang's pupils narrowed and he nodded slightly. After the 7th round of thunder passed, Si Zhan's expression became solemn. He didn't dare to resist the 7th level tribulation thunder with just his physical body. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 726. Chapter 707, Dual Cultivation of Martial Arts, 7-9 Tribulations. Is this guy a martial artist? Li Wuji said in disbelief as he looked at the green-robed Taoist priest who was unscathed under the 8th round of Heavenly Tribulation. Looking deeply at the stalwart figure bathed in the thunder and calamity fire, Zhang Xiaoyang shook his head. We all felt it just now. It was mana, not blood, that caused the catastrophe. Double cultivation of martial arts. These four words popped into everyone's mind. When did such a monster appear in Qi County, China? Why have I never heard of it before? Lin Lingsu said. Haha, the world is so big, capable people and strangers emerge in large numbers. It is inevitable that there will be some people who like to practice hard. Yang Ye said with a smile. It looks like there is going to be one more person among our generation. After taking a slight breath, Zhang Xiaoyang continued, looking at his physical cultivation, he has already reached the rank of a high-ranking general. Otherwise, he would not be so strong. Now he is just surviving the golden immortal tribulation. Looking at the arrogant and powerful figure surrounded by thunder clouds, the eyes of the four people flickered. Everyone is not stupid. After both martial arts and martial arts have entered the golden immortal level, their strength will be much stronger than simply cultivating the soul and body. He is definitely the most powerful contender for the next Yellow Emperor throne. Amitabha, another golden immortal has appeared in the Middle Earth, and his strength is so powerful. Alas, can our Buddhist sect have no choice but to hide in the western regions? The empty-faced monk looked gloomy. No matter what others thought, Su Junming, who was in the middle of the thunder at the moment, felt calm and looked up at the last thunder tribulation. With a faint smile, he activated the celestial elephant gate. Hu Tianshen performs magic. The figure disappeared instantly. Seeing this scene, everyone changed their colors instantly. Where has he gone? Lao Shi asked in surprise. She didn't see the other person's escaping light at all, and the person just disappeared out of thin air. Formation. Looking at the towering mountain peaks that looked like three giant forks reaching into the sky, S.I. Jean said in a condensed voice. Although he didn't know what method the green-robed Taoist priest used, the last place he looked at was Sanchurij. Zhonweng and Lao Shi had shock on their faces. He is crazy, how dare he do this? Formations are different from elixirs. Once formations are used to assist in overcoming tribulations, the power of the heavenly tribulation will inevitably increase exponentially. No immortal who has overcome tribulation would make such a mistake. S.I. Jean slowly shook his head. How can a person who can cultivate both martial arts and reach the golden immortal realm be a lunatic? The reason for doing this must be his own reasons. Before he finished speaking, the thunder clouds in the sky seemed to be angered by Su Junming's actions. The black tribulation clouds rolled like a sea tide, as if they were experiencing a Category 12 hurricane. The vast black tribulation clouds rolled and made a loud noise like a bull's roar. The calamity cloud spread rapidly, nearly doubling in size in the blink of an eye. With a diameter of more than 30,000 miles and an even more astonishing momentum, it forced everyone to retreat. Whoosh! Amid the roaring wind, a huge dark purple thunder eye with a diameter of 3,000 feet appeared in the middle of the calamity cloud like the eye of a storm. The completely liquefied thunder is full of great power that can destroy the world. In everyone's shocked eyes, a 3,000-foot purple thunder pillar, like a giant sword in the hand of a god, instantly penetrated the sky and the earth. The world is purple. The dazzling light makes it difficult to look directly. Immediately afterwards, a deafening roar resounded in all directions. The wildly expanding wind and waves roared and swept over. Except for those high-ranking golden immortals, everyone tried their best to stabilize the magic weapon so as not to be blown over by this tyrannical storm. When everything calmed down a little, everyone looked again, and their eyes widened in unison, with a look of disbelief on their faces. The peaks on the left side of Sanchurij have all disappeared. It did not break, but was directly vaporized by the tyrannical thunder. The dozens of feet of mountain at the break turned into deep purple-colored glaze. The nearly 10,000-foot mountain peak just disappeared. Just when everyone was shocked, a trace of flame suddenly appeared in the air, followed by a vast cloud of fire that stretched for 30,000 miles. The fire eye in the middle has the highest temperature and has completely turned into red gold. The roaring flames rolled up layers of fire waves, and one could clearly feel the heat of the molten iron within tens of thousands of miles away. Seeing the calamity fire filling the sky, Zhang Xiaoyang, Lin Lingsu, Yang Ye, and Li Wuji had solemn expressions, and no one spoke. The thunder tribulation just now was 3 times more powerful than the 9th thunder tribulation when they passed through the golden immortal tribulation. They would never have been able to survive it at that time. But now the other party has not only survived, but the aura that burst out has not diminished much because of the tribulation. This strength is simply unbelievable. Boom! The giant flame pillar with a diameter of 3,000 feet, like a giant flame sword spanning the sky, slashed straight towards the giant peak on the right side of the Trident Peak. Layers of spiderweb-like restrictions emerged from the rocks. This tyrannical top-grade immortal formation was already incomplete during the previous Earth Dragon's transformation. Today, under the endless flames of heavenly calamity, I only lasted for a moment, and then the layers melted. The hard rock is like soft paraffin, which melts and burns into fly ash. Su Junming was naked and allowed the flames to burn up. The physical body that has reached the perfection of the high-ranking general is crackling. Under the calcining of the flames, the weak parts of the muscles and bones are refined away. It was quickly repaired by the medicinal power and spiritual energy hidden in Su Junming's body. In the continuous destruction and rebirth, the originally powerful body became more powerful. Sure enough, only such a catastrophe can forge my physical body. Su Junming was happy. With his current physical state, it is almost impossible to continue to improve without going through the Tai Immortal Tribulation. The Golden Immortal Tribulation is the only chance. But after experiencing it, he discovered that the Golden Immortal Tribulation would not have much effect in front of his tyrannical body. Therefore, he entered the formation directly. Once outside forces intervene, the scale of the catastrophe will increase exponentially. This is something he has known for a long time. Only a more powerful heavenly tribulation can fully stimulate the medicinal power and spiritual energy buried deep in the body, and truly make the physical body reach 100% perfection. Of course, he was also afraid that he would lose it. If you don't pay attention for a moment, you will die directly from the thunder. Although he will not die, this physical body and the results of hundreds of years of practice will be in vain. Therefore, he waited until the 8th thunderbolt ended before getting into the formation. Now it seems that he made the right bet. The intensity of the current calamity is just right for his physical body. When the flames dissipated, he looked at the falling copper seal above and reached out to grab it. After holding it in his hand, he activated the celestial elephant gate, and a space channel the size of a peanut appeared in front of him. After activating the Hushan compression technique and compressing itself, lightning flew in. When it reappeared, it was already in the heart of a huge mountain. In the center of the huge mountain, which is 100 feet high and 200 feet in diameter, is a magnificent altar. From east to west, north to south, there are 4 stone steps leading directly to the top of the altar. 8 9-foot-tall warrior stone statues guard the upward stone steps. Time was precious, so Su Junming directly activated the celestial elephant gate, passed through the formation, and reached the top of the altar. On the altar, which is several acres in size, the shapes of 9 palaces and 8 trigrams are carved. There are 4 stone platforms placed in the Bagua. Each stone platform is green in color and has a height, width, and length of 2 feet. What is strange is that on the 2 stone platforms in the east and west, there are 2 giant hands that are about 10 feet long, with gnarled muscles, thick joints, and the color of bronze. On the 2 stone platforms in the south and north, there are 2 giant legs that look like black iron pillars, covered with curly hair, and thicker than the waist of an ordinary person. Although it has been sealed for tens of thousands of years, the flesh and blood in these limbs has not completely decayed. This shows how tyrannical their masters were back then. Under the protection of these hands, feet, and limbs, On the stone platform 3 feet long, wide, and high in the center, there is a big mountain breaking axe. This axe is entirely navy blue, with a tiger head pattern engraved on the water tank-sized axe head. The curved axe blade is like a huge crescent moon. Even though it had not drank blood for tens of thousands of years, the dark, sharp axe blade still shone with a chilling light. An unknown thick piece of wood, as thick as an adult's thigh, blue-black and slightly scarred, passed through the axe. It makes this big axe look a little rough. No matter how you look at it, this giant axe has nothing to do with craftsmanship, but under Su Junming's spiritual perception. This battle axe contains unimaginable evil energy. From the first contact, it seemed as if there were countless dead souls wailing in my ears. Even after endless years, the fierceness in it has not been eradicated. Taking 2 steps forward, Su Junming's body expanded and soon became 3 feet in size. He stretched out his hand to grab it, and the witch god's battle axe, which had not been touched for tens of thousands of years, fell into his palm. He raised his eyebrows. It's really substantial. This giant axe weighs 30,000 kilograms. No wonder this baby is left here. Such a heavy axe would be difficult for anyone to use with ease unless he was a strong man like him who specialized in cultivating his physical body and reached the level of golden immortal. You must know that pure Wu clan weapons are completely different from Taoist magic weapons. Because the witch clan has no magic power, only qi and blood. Therefore, their method of forging weapons is not to use furnace fire to practice it, but to use their own energy and blood to slowly warm and nourish it. Also called blood sacrifice to soldiers. The natal magic weapon refined in this way is in harmony with its own energy and blood, making it easy to use and doubling its combat power. Moreover, the magical weapons of the Wu clan use flesh, blood, and soul as their basis. The more they kill, the stronger their power becomes, similar to the magic way. This witch god battle axe is the most sacred weapon of the witch clan in the southern border of China in Qi County, and billions of lives have died in his hands. That's why it's so powerful. If Su Junming wants to use such a thing, he must first use the Tiangong divine furnace to refine the evil spirit of flesh and blood and the yin energy of the soul that have been contaminated by countless killings over hundreds of millions of years. Only after the essence is purified can the prohibition be re-engraved and refined into an immortal weapon. Of course, that means he has the heavenly works divine furnace. If it were an ordinary monk without a divine furnace, if he wanted to refine this giant axe, he would have to spend many years of polishing it. If you have this skill, you might as well collect the spiritual energy yourself and practice the magic weapon. Moreover, without skillful weapon refining methods, even if the giant axe is cleaned, it cannot be made into a magic weapon and cannot be used. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 727. The then heavenly Emperor Xia Hao, who had all the infinite treasures in Qi County and China, would naturally not take a fancy to such a thing. He took it in his hand, looked at it twice, and waved it casually. Like a hot knife cutting through butter, a black crack nearly 2 feet long opened in mid-air. As expected. The power of the realm of Chixian Shenzhou is far stronger than that of Shushan, the lower realm, and the space is naturally stronger. Being able to cut through it so easily, this witch god battle axe deserves the name of a divine weapon. Just as he was about to try the battle axe again, suddenly the altar beneath his feet began to tremble. Purple auras soared into the sky, and thick thunder and lightning surrounded the altar like an angry dragon. In an instant, the entire altar seemed to turn into a huge thunder ball. Suddenly the sky above became dark, and the luminous pearl originally used for illumination suddenly disappeared. Thick black mist, like a thick fog that makes you unable to see your fingers, is rolling in. The bronze statues surrounding the altar, after being contaminated by the dense air, disappeared silently, like spring silkworms eating leaves. Immediately afterwards, the black mist collided with the thunder beside the altar. It was like 2 fearless armies, fighting madly and then falling. The comrades behind him continued to rush forward and repeated a new round of killing. Su Junming stood on the ring holding a giant axe. Seeing this scene, he did not intervene. I don't know how much time has passed. Gradually, the black mist became less and less, and finally disappeared. Also disappearing at the same time was the mountain that once covered the altar. Look up. The sky full of calamity clouds came into view. The calamity cloud, which had already reached 50,000 miles away, was nearly twice as powerful as before. The power of this innate spiritual treasure is so powerful that it can actually block a wind catastrophe whose power was multiplied several times with only this half-impaired formation without anyone driving it. Stomping his right foot, the formation, which had been destroyed by the previous wind tribulation, was shattered instantly, and the altar collapsed inch by inch. What was hidden inside was revealed. This is a huge copper coffin that is 3 feet long and 2 feet wide. The copper coffin depicts complicated seals and restrictions, but this does not trouble Su Junming. What's more, tens of thousands of years have passed, and the previous earth dragon turned over, the seal of this copper coffin is also broken. With a wave of his sleeves, boom, the heavy coffin lid flew up instantly. A burly body was revealed inside. To be precise, it's just a head and torso, not limbs. Even so, one can still see how majestic he is. On his bare chest, the muscles are tangled like steel, revealing an explosive power. The thick neck is extremely thick, and the bulging muscles are like twisted steel wires, tightly connecting the head and chest. The messy beard is like a poisonous python, winding wantonly. A wide mouth was pursed tightly, showing unyieldingness. Between the towering cheekbones and the straight bridge of the nose are 2 goose egg-sized, tightly closed eyes. On his forehead is an iron hoop with a tiger head embossed in the middle. Her wild hair was scattered casually aside. Looking at this majestic, wild torso and head, his identity is self-evident. Sci-fi. Tens of thousands of years ago, he was sealed here after he failed to compete with Xiahao for the position of Emperor of Heaven. It is rumored that Xiahao and Sci-fi are half-brothers. I don't know if it is true or not. He shook his head and stretched out his hand. A ray of purple light flew out of the Baihui point on the head. This is a 6-edged spike about 1 foot and 3 inches long, wrapped with thunder. The nail head has a unique shape and is oval in shape overall. 2 quay ox heads are carved in the round on both sides, and a divine pattern with the word thunder is carved in the middle. Divine consciousness is immersed, and the 12 innate divine prohibitions are reflected in the sea of consciousness. It is indeed a top-notch, low-grade innate spiritual treasure. Good. Satisfied and pocketed. At this moment, golden swords rained down from the sky. Su Junming was naked and allowed himself to be struck down by the sword transformed by Jinji. However, the majestic torso next to him was not left behind either. Ding 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 ding. The sword fell on Su Junming's body, as if it were struck with iron, unable to penetrate at all. But these swords were too dense, and they came one after another like raindrops. Over time, red blood also flowed down. The flow of blood made Su Junming look a little miserable. Suddenly, the head in the copper coffin suddenly opened its eyes, and stared at Su Junming, who was more than 10 feet away and standing in mid-air. The next moment, the head and torso suddenly flew out of the copper coffin. 4 streams of light flew from the ruins. Gaba repeatedly. The arms and legs on the altar were connected to the torso. Sci-fi, who was 3 feet tall and extremely majestic, looked at Su Junming, who was bleeding profusely, and the battle axe in his hand, with a look of struggle on his face. Gritting his teeth, he turned around and flew away. He had been trapped for tens of thousands of years, and his body was severely depleted. If he stayed any longer, these golden knives would cut him into pieces. By that time, even if the top witch generals of the witch clan have the ability to be reborn with a drop of blood, it will be over. I didn't let you go. A calm voice sounded in my ears. Shayaji was shocked and raised his head suddenly. A powerful giant palm was shot from the air. The huge power that was even more powerful than that at his peak, combined with the mysterious space magic power, directly enveloped everything within 100 miles. If Shayaji was at his peak, he could still compete. But now, I have something to say. Boom. An earth-shattering explosion of energy exploded. The rain of golden swords and swords all over the sky has lost a big chunk. The people who have retreated 50,000 miles away, even the golden immortals such as Liwuji, who do not have the magic of divine eyes, or the treasures such as the miniature of a house thousands of miles away, can hardly cross this far distance. What's more, there is the obstacle of the golden immortal tribulation. Ah, Amitabha. This person is so strong. The eyes of the empty phase are blooming with golden light, which is the celestial eye among the 6 magical powers of Buddhism. Because the golden immortal heavenly tribulation was too powerful, he didn't see Shayaji in the rain of golden swords, but he saw the giant palm holding the sky. That domineering divine power actually gave him an irresistible feeling. There was a 3-foot-long bronze mirror suspended in front of Zhang Xiaoyang. The bronze mirror reflected the scene of Su Junming, who was 3 feet tall and holding the witch god's battle axe. I also saw the scene where after he raised his right hand, he used the mighty giant palm in mid-air to slap Shayaji to death. Lin Lingsu, Yang Ye and Li Wuji, who were watching together, all turned pale. Slowly, in the golden immortal heavenly tribulation, the 4th golden tribulation passed. The rain of golden swords and swords all over the sky slowly subsided. Looking in the bronze mirror, the blood on the person who had overcome the calamity slowly disappeared, revealing his strong body again. Zhang Xiaoyang took a deep breath. It seems that the treasure born in Qingyang Mountain this time will have no chance with us. Lin Lingsu stared at the powerful figure in the picture, and according to the previously drawn-up distribution plan, she sealed Shayaji's innate spiritual treasure Li Gongbang to give them the way to the sky. The 4 great gates of China's Middle Earth in Chixian County. Tianqi Tao, Chunyang sect, Kongtong sect, and their Shenxiao Tao. The Tianqi Dao has the dragon and tiger treasure seal, the Chunyang sect has the Chunyang sword, and the Kongtong sect has the thick earth spiritual flag. They are the only ones who do not have the innate spiritual treasure to suppress the sect. Although, there are now 2 golden immortals in Shenxiao Dao, namely him and his senior brother Wang Wenqing, whose strength is second only to Tianqi Dao. But without the innate spiritual treasure to suppress the sect's fate, when they ascend or expire, Shenxiao Dao may not be as glorious as it is now. Therefore, they are determined to win against Li Gongbang. But now looking at the Taoist's cultivation and his performance during the tribulation, it is obvious that he is not an easy person. Brother Zhang, you just saw that Shaokong is not dead. The seal for tens of thousands of years has not completely destroyed him, which shows how strong the physical body is. If you use his body as a material to practice, with the secret puppet technique of your sect, you can create a puppet at the peak of the golden immortal. With it suppressing the sect, Tianqi Dao will have another treasure, and the problem of the inheritance will no longer be cured. Lin Lingsu turned her head and continued, Brother Li, the treasure of the pure Yang Wuji formation, pure Yang purple jade, is a rare innate spiritual material. With your sect's methods and a little time, it will not be difficult to refine a pure Yang treasure with 12 restrictions. At that time, Chunyang sect will add another sect-suppressing treasure. Brother Yang, I remember that the imperial court was determined to obtain the dynasty dragon spirit in the dragon bird seal, and His Majesty Huizong also counted on Brother Yang to take back the witch god's battle axe so that he could use this treasure to unite with Nanzao and control the gold, Liao. The expressions of the 3 people moved slightly. Of course they knew why Lin Lingsu said that. These 5 treasures were distributed by everyone earlier. Just wait until the formation is broken, and everyone will get what they need. I was just playing around, but I didn't expect to encounter such a big change now. Fellow Taoist Lin, of course we will never forget the purpose of you and me coming here. But you have also seen the strength of the green-robed Taoist. Not to mention martial arts, his physical body is particularly strong. I'm afraid that even if we take action, we won't get much benefit except finding a powerful enemy for ourselves and the section. After Zhang Xiaoyang finished speaking, Yang Ye nodded. We are all human beings, so we should put aside our past grudges and protect the country of the Song dynasty together. As for a treasure, it does not have to be snatched by force. Exchange is also a good way. Chunyang, Shenxiao, and Tianqi have established their sects for tens of thousands of years. Are there some rare collections from the outside world? What Brother Yang said is absolutely true. Li Wuji nodded in agreement. Lin Lingsu's face changed slightly. If what Shenxiao Dao needs is just a cherished innate spiritual material or a top-quality fairy weapon, he will also agree to the exchange. But Tianlei Bang is an innate spiritual treasure. The entire Chixian Shenzhou does not exceed the size of 2 palms. With such a treasure in hand, who is willing to exchange it? The best immortal materials are rare, and spiritual roots are even rarer. Moreover, we may not be able to come up with what he wants. We might as well do it first. I don't believe that he, a golden immortal who has just passed through the tribulation, can be stronger even if his body is stronger. Let the 4 of us join forces, Lin Lingsu said. Zhang Xiaoyang smiled faintly. Even if we want to take action, it won't be our turn for the time being. With the witch clan's reckless temperament, in order to regain the witch god's battle axe, they will most likely take action. When the time comes, let's take the opportunity to get a glimpse of the Qingbao Taoist strength, and then we'll make plans. Li Wuji nodded. Haha, fellow Taoist Zhang's words are still safe. Yang Ye and Lin Lingsu frowned slightly. The former does not want human beings to kill each other, while the latter is afraid that if they hesitate, they will never have another chance. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 728. Not to mention the 4-person plan. At this time, the poisonous water in the sky was like a vast ocean, drowning Su Junming. The highly toxic calamity water is highly corrosive. Su Junming's skin soon became ulcerated and disappeared, and his muscles became bloody. His hands, feet, knees, and other places with little flesh were exposed with white bones. Fortunately, he was prepared. With a slap on the gourd on his waist, the elixirs he had prepared earlier flew into his mouth one by one. Going down the throat, the powerful medicine exploded. After absorbing this extremely rich nutrition, the heart beats like a giant drum, flowing out countless blood rich in powerful vitality. Destroyed muscles are quickly repaired, and lost epidermis is quickly grown. In destruction and rebirth, the body becomes stronger. After the water calamity came the wood calamity. The dense wood energy surrounded him from the inside out, trying to wooden his internal organs. Repeating the previous process, driven by the power of the elixir, the internal organs also became tougher and stronger in the constant struggle between the power of vitality and the energy of rotten wood. After the wood tribulation comes the earth tribulation. The extremely heavy pressure fell instantly, making Su Junming suspect that there was a small world on his back. However, the foot was extremely hard, and the body was placed in the middle, as if it was about to be crushed. Creak. He seemed to hear the sound of bones rubbing together and muscles slowly tightening. Standing firmly upright, the originally curved waist slowly straightened. The movements were so slow that it was almost impossible to tell that he was moving. It seemed like a century was so long that Su Junming almost forgot the time. Suddenly he was empty. The waist straightened instantly, because the last move was too fast, and the air was instantly squeezed out. The rapidly surging air pulled his long, tough hair and fluttered in the wind, setting off his majestic body, which was 3 feet tall and carrying a giant axe, like a god or demon. He wiped the sweat from his forehead and let out a long breath. Finally got over it? Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, and thunder, only this earth calamity is the most torturous. As for the final inner demon tribulation, with the bronze mirror here, it is the least need to worry. A stream of 7-colored mist suddenly shot out from the calamity cloud. The speed was extremely fast, and he was submerged in Su Junming's body in an instant. The strong demonic chi of the 7 emotions surged into my heart, my mind went dizzy, my eyes blurred, and when I reappeared, it was already a spacious and bright high school classroom. Next to him sat the class beauty whom he had a crush on back then. The inner demon is obsession. Su Junming's obsession is that past life that he remembers deeply and uniquely. Almost every inner demon tribulation finally transformed into this world. Immerse yourself in the picture of happiness drawn by your inner demons, including many children, many wives, many blessings, and a long life. It wasn't until a blue light hit his heart that he finally woke up. He breathed a long sigh of relief. There was a bit of complexity and emotion in his expression. No matter how long it has been, his past life is his most cherished memory. After shaking his head to smooth away the unnecessary thoughts, his mind became clear and relaxed again. This is also another benefit of the inner demon calamity. It can soothe your thoughts and relax your mood in a long-term illusion. Of course, those whose obsession is hatred are exceptions. The inner demon tribulation has passed, and the heavenly tribulation has also passed naturally. The calamity cloud, which spanned 50,000 miles and was as black as lead ink, disappeared completely in just a few moments just as it came. The once dark sky became bright again. Feel the faint warmth of the sun shining on your body and look at the cloudless blue sky. The huge contrast made most people look dazed for a moment. At this moment, a vast aura of creation that spanned thousands of feet appeared from somewhere in the dark and quickly fell into Su Junming's body. The mana, which had been declining due to the tribulation, suddenly surged. The Danshan, which was already as huge as a small 1,000 worlds, expanded rapidly. The mana inside it, as vast as a huge ocean, increased rapidly, and the quality also improved a big step. However, the improvement of mana is second, the key is the bronze mirror. Just like every time he made a breakthrough in the past, the huge bronze mirror in the Danshan, which was as majestic as an ancient mountain, once again peeled off a large amount of rust. The hazy mirror became clearer. A brilliance as clear as water spilled from the bronze mirror. Su Junming instantly felt that his understanding was rising rapidly, and the avenue of heaven and earth became clear before his eyes. Proud of the mysterious willow branch, Su Junming's understanding of the Seal Way and the Space Way has already reached the peak that his body can bear. The Soul Dao is the Dao that he values the most and practices the most diligently. In the past 100 years, he has never relaxed his understanding of it. Therefore, the soul path has always been the path that I have the deepest understanding of. Long before coming to the Lingkong immortal realm, he had reached the peak of what his body could bear. He was proud of the last time he was in Yuejia town, after getting rid of the demonic aura of the rotting corpse from the corpse of the golden-winged Dapen, and condensing the good results of the Xian Huang merit ruler. The swordsmanship and martial arts were integrated, and the latter was a step further without him having to worry about it. The Yin and Yang Dao has Renwuji, the 5 elements Dao has Dragon Emperor, the 3 Emperors Dao has Ao Tian, and the Devouring Dao has Tai. After excluding this, only the Dao of Tiangong and the Dao of Creation are left that need to be understood by his heart. Tiangong Dao is a collection of Alchemy Dao, Instrument Dao, and Formation Dao. The latter two are just that. Alchemy Dao is crucial to the progress of one's own cultivation. Of course, understanding should be given priority. The huge Tiangong Dao talisman in the Danshan, shaped like an alchemy cauldron, grew rapidly. It soon surpassed the most powerful soul Tao talisman. After the physical body has advanced through this catastrophe, it will naturally be able to withstand stronger avenue projections, which are talismans. Not to mention Su Junming's enlightenment. When everyone around them saw that the catastrophe had passed, they flew straight towards the sanctuary of Qingyang Mountain. This is the newly promoted Jingxian boss, the top existence in the cultivation world, and he looks like a casual cultivator. If nothing happens, another boss will be added to the many forces in Chixian Shenzhou. At this time, of course, you have to get familiar with it in advance. It would be best if you could become a disciple or something. Yu Xiang and Pan Liapo were also among these people. Although Yu Xiang had long been accustomed to his master's vast magical powers, it was only after seeing the tyrannical catastrophe that seemed to destroy the world just now that he truly understood how great and majestic his master was. As for Pan Liapo, she is still confused. The person who was originally thought to be nothing more than a Xianxian, just in front of him, has overcome the tribulation and become the golden immortal boss that millions of practitioners in Qi County and Shenzhou look up to. This is a golden fairy. The existence that stands at the top of the spiritual world. One person can suppress a country. Enjoy the fruit of 120,000 years of longevity and sit back and watch the changing times. Pan Liapo was shocked beyond words. Compared to Yu Xiang, she has been practicing for many years and can better understand the weight of the word golden immortal. And looking at the catastrophe just now, it was obvious that it was not an ordinary golden immortal catastrophe. In terms of scale and intensity, it far exceeded the 7 or 9 tribulations she knew. In the world of cultivation, heavenly calamity is the fairest. No matter whether you are a direct descendant of a big sect or a grassroots riser, you have to go through it. Moreover, stronger heavenly tribulations often indicate that those who overcome the tribulation have stronger foundation and higher strength after overcoming the tribulation. I never expected that the senior is also a martial arts practitioner, and he has reached an extremely high level. I really don't know how he practiced. With many complex emotions such as shock, disbelief, and amazement, the crowd came to 100 feet away from Su Junming, and then stopped along with the crowd. Even Li Wuji, Yang Ye, Kong Xiang, Si Zhan and other golden immortals only moved forward 30 feet more than everyone else before stopping. This is a sign of respect for the golden immortal monk. But there was one exception. A bolt of lightning flew forward in full view of everyone. In the surprised eyes of everyone, he got close to a distance of 10 feet before falling down. The light dissipated, and a tall, handsome young man wearing a blue-gray robe, with a face like a jade, and a heroic spirit appeared in front of everyone. Seeing him, everyone's eyes couldn't help but light up, and they secretly praised him. What a good boy. Especially the eyes of the female monks were shining brightly. And his cultivation in the Yuan Shen realm, as well as his heroic spirit that has obviously not faded away after practicing Taoism for a long time, made those in charge of the sect, such as Li Wuji, Lin Lingsu, and Zhang Xiaoyang, show appreciation in their eyes. Such young disciples are definitely among the best in their sect. Silently walked behind the ancestor. Facing the attention of so many monks for the first time, Yu Xiang, who had just started his career, couldn't help but feel an unspeakable pressure. We can't embarrass our ancestor, let alone make people look down on me. Chongshan Academy. Yu Xiang, whose thoughts became more determined, took a slight breath and straightened his waist even more. Looking at the green gourd on Su Junming's waist, and then looking at the yellow gourd on Yu Xiang's waist, everyone seemed to understand something. Whose last name is this little friend? Is he the disciple of this fellow Taoist? Zhang Xiaoyang asked. Yu Xiang cupped his fists and saluted, neither humble nor arrogant. Senior, my name is Yu Xiang, and I am the grandson of my master. Does Master Ling have a Dharma title? The master's Dharma title is Taisha Chongshan True Monarch. Yu Xiang nodded and said. The true lord of Taisha Chongshan. Everyone was talking about it, but no one had ever heard of this name. But it doesn't matter, after what happened today, this name will be spread throughout the world of cultivation in just 2 or 3 days. Does Master Ling have a sect? Lin Lingsu asked. Just as Yu Xiang was about to answer, an indescribable and tyrannical pressure suddenly dissipated. Everyone's heart sank and they subconsciously became quiet. 2 cold eyes flashed away, and the Taoist who had overcome the tribulation had already opened his eyes. However, he did not have the fluctuations in mana that other people experienced after passing through the tribulation, which were ups and downs and difficult to calm down. Instead, it's like a deep pool. No matter how you test it, you can't see the edge. I am the founder of Chongshan Academy. Everyone looked at each other in shock, none of them had heard of this name. Shenxiao Daolin Lingsu has met fellow Daoist Su and congratulates fellow Daoist for advancing to the upper realm of golden immortal and enjoying the blessing of 120,000 years of immortality. Thank you. Su Junming said calmly. Lin Lingsu's eyes flashed with a glint. Fellow Taoist used the Sanchurij seal formation to overcome the tribulation. I think that tens of thousands of years ago, it was sealed by the Emperor of Heaven, Xia Hao, and the treasure of the Kishan cave in southern Xinjiang was the witch god battle axe, and it must be in the hands of fellow Taoists. This was like a reminder, causing Si Zhan, Zhong Wen, and Lai Shi Lao to change their expressions instantly. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 729. Chapter 710 Pan Tuo Divine Sword, a sword that shocks the sky. Su Junming's eyes changed slightly. The words he just said clearly provoked a conflict between him and the southern Xinjiang shaman clan. Fellow Daoist Su, the witch god battle axe is the treasure of our Kishan cave. Please return it, friend Daoist. I will inscribe it on the top and bottom of Kishan cave, Si Zhan said. Although he was not stupid, he could tell that Lin Lingsu had bad intentions. But unfortunately this is a conspiracy, even if he understands it, he still has to jump in. The witch god's battle axe is not only the fate of Kishan cave, but also the weapon that protects the survival of Nanzhao. After getting it, Si Zhan was confident enough to sit on the throne of Red Emperor and command the tens of billions of people in Nanzhao. Since the witch god's battle axe is the treasure of the witch clan, it doesn't hurt to return it to you. Si Zhan was overjoyed, but before he could say thank you, Su Junming changed the subject. However, this treasure is hard to come by. I have no friendship with you, the witch clan, so you, red mouth and white teeth, are going to take it away. Isn't it too easy? If I help you today, and others come to me for something in the future, will I give it to you or not? Si Zhan raised his eyebrows and asked, what does fellow Taoist mean? Of course it's an exchange. I think the sect that has been established in Kishendong for hundreds of thousands of years must have accumulated a lot of good things, Su Junming said with a smile. To him, although the witch god battle axe was rare, it was not an extraordinary treasure. Instead of working hard to refine the impurities and refine them into treasures in the burning restriction, it would be better to directly exchange the treasures you like with Qi Shendong. In this way, you will get more benefits. Si Zhan's face became slightly more relaxed. Since the other party asked for an exchange, it showed that he had no intention of occupying the witch god battle axe. In this way, his hope of welcoming back the witch god's battle axe naturally increased. I wonder what Daoist wants in exchange. Kishan cave has been inherited since ancient times and has been accumulated for hundreds of thousands of years. It has many treasures. Moreover, the Wu clan only cultivates the physical body, not magic power, and has accumulated many treasures suitable for Suanmen monks. Si Zhan is confident in completing the deal and getting back the witch god's battle axe. Su Junming smiled faintly, so as not to prevent others from overhearing. He directly stated the conditions by means of sound transmission into the secret. Si Zhan's face changed drastically and he blurted out. Forgive me, fellow Taoist, but we don't have this thing. Yes, you know better than me. After listening to what the two said and seeing Si Jean's ugly expression, the people around him became curious. What kind of treasure is this thing that can put this Kishan cave master into trouble? I, Chi Shen Cave, really don't have what Taoist friend wants. What if I give you 3 pieces of the best immortal materials in exchange? That's really not possible. We, Chi Shen Cave, also have a top quality fairy root called Fengzhou. One jujube can hold up to 3 after 100 years of hard training. It is the top spiritual thing in China in Qi County. As long as Taoist friends are willing, I will use this spiritual root in exchange. I've already told you what I want, there's no need to mention the rest. Si Jean's expression suddenly changed, and he became angry. Boom! In an instant, energy and blood surged, and the infinite evil energy was like a storm, sweeping thousands of feet around. In addition to Jin Xian, Xian Xian also turned pale and quickly retreated in front of this tyrannical momentum. Su Junming Daxia waved, and the fierce evil aura reached 3 feet in front of him, and then seemed to hit a copper wall and an iron wall, making it difficult to move forward. Fellow Taoist Su, please don't toast me and you will be fined if you don't eat it. After Si Jean finished speaking, a huge bloody evil energy surged up from the body of Zhong Weng on the left, and the boundless black energy from the snake grandmother on the right rose into the sky, turning into a huge black snake, raising its head to the sky and hissing. The evil energy was overwhelming. The momentum of the 3 people was connected together, and Zhang Xiaoyang, Lin Lingsu and others were also captured by it and flew back quickly, not daring to touch its front. Su Junming sat cross-legged with a calm expression. The fierce and overwhelming evil energy that shocked the mind seemed to have hit a huge mountain after it came 3 feet in front of him. No matter how fierce the evil spirit is and how thunder blows, it is still difficult to make any progress. Seeing this scene, the hearts of Si Jean and the other 3 people were filled with disbelief. You want to be polite first and then attack with force, but it's a pity that you used the wrong person. A cold voice sounded. Su Junming raised his right palm, and the endless energy and blood seemed to erupt like a volcano. Howling, it soared nearly 10,000 feet into the sky. The vast masculine true meaning fills the sky. A bloody sun seemed to appear in the sky instantly. The next moment, the entire sky turned dark. A huge and unparalleled palm, spanning half of the sky. A sky blue divine pattern that was bigger than the mountains flashed in the palm of his hand. Mysterious and infinite artistic conception emanates from it. Zhang Xiaoyang, Lin Lingsu, Kong Xiang, and others looked shocked. Previously, they had seen Su Junming use this divine palm to suppress Si Shaiji, but only by truly experiencing it could they truly understand its tyranny. Boom! The deafening explosion was earth-shattering. The white energy exploded and rolled, condensing into a giant palm with a radius of tens of thousands of miles. What is really shocking is that this giant palm enveloped hundreds of thousands of monks, but in the end, only the 3 of Si Jean were knocked down. After hundreds of years of understanding, Su Junming's use of the Pantuo divine palm has become extremely wonderful. Seeing this scene, everyone subconsciously opened their mouths. A full quarter of an hour passed. 3 rays of light rose from the mountains below. They were Si Jean, Zhong Weng, and Lai Shi Lao. Although the 3 of them were full of momentum, their bodies were in a mess and their faces were ugly. Especially the one with the lowest cultivation level, Lao Shi, had faint traces of blood on the corners of her mouth, and she was obviously injured. You deserve to die. With an angry roar, Zhong Weng, who had the hottest temper, shook his body. The body that was 10 feet tall grew crazily, turning into 8,000 feet in the blink of an eye. The mountain-like body has bulging muscles, and the vast energy and blood are mixed with the overbearing evil spirit, covering the whole body like a flame. A blood-red giant sword in his hand also expanded, and the blade, which was nearly 5,000 feet long, glowed with a blood-like red light. The true form of the witch general. Seeing Zhonweng's explosion, the monks watching the battle were afraid that the city gate would catch fire and damage the fish in the pond. They flew away frantically as if their buttocks were on fire. Boom! Si Zhan then swayed and transformed into the true form of the shaman general, which was 8,600 feet tall. The tyrannical evil spirit and vitality were obviously much higher than those of Zhonwen next to him. The giant axe in his hand also expanded. A 6,000-foot giant axe, the head of the axe was bigger than the mountains next to it. A sharp cold light shot out, and with a random stroke, the surrounding space was instantly cut open. Lao Shi looked up to the sky and hissed, and endless black mist poured out from her body crazily. Gradually, a giant black snake, 7,300 feet long, with a single horn on its head, eyes like stars, and two fleshy wings growing out of its back, with black scales all over its body and only a white line under its neck, suddenly fell down. Zhonwen, who was the first to transform, rushed forward. With one step, the earth seemed to experience an 8-magnitude earthquake, with alarming force. "Look at my blood killing." The long blood-red sword fell in the air. The huge blade was so powerful that it looked like it was going to cut through the sky. A black battle axe arrived first, its sharp blade wrapped in a layer of black light, which was a sign of the space being cut open. Because the speed was too fast and too sharp, the space was broken open before it could heal, so this strange appearance of being wrapped in black light was formed. Next to the battle axe, a 1,000-foot-long black air arrow struck with lightning at an astonishing speed. There was a disgusting fishy smell inside, which was obviously highly poisonous. The three witches went all out, and the combined power made the golden immortals like Li Wuji and Lin Lingsu feel numb. The evil spirit is overwhelming and the swords and axes are astonishing. Su Junming always looked calm. Afraid. Yu Xiang's face turned pale. After hearing this, a sudden thought came to his mind, and he suddenly puffed up his chest and said in victory, "Don't be afraid. Haha, it doesn't matter if you're afraid. When your master and I were the same age as you, I would have been scared to death when I encountered such a scene." Saying that, Su Junming raised his left index finger and hit it. Buzz. A sword cry resounded throughout the world. The crisp, exciting voice suppressed everything else and seemed to be the only one in the world. Choke. The swords of all the monks around him trembled. Li Wuji's expression changed and he quickly held down his pure yang sword. Feeling the awe that spread into my heart, I was shocked. He never expected that there was someone in this world whose sword skills were so much higher than his own, that even his natal flying sword was alarmed by the sword intention. In response to the immeasurable sword, a pure and selfless golden red blood sword rushed out of Su Junming's body. Pan Tuo Divine Sword. The vast sword light is like a rainbow flashing across the sky. The sharp sword energy made people subconsciously close their eyes. Tisk, bang. A strange sound penetrated his ears, followed by screams. After noticing the decline of the sword energy, everyone quickly opened their eyes and looked towards the field. The three people from the Wu clan were extremely miserable at the moment. There is a deep sword mark embedded in Si Zhan's battle axe. At the same time, a huge wound opened on his left shoulder that was hundreds of feet long and dozens of feet deep. Blood flowed out like a fountain, soaking into the tiger skin skirt on his body, making him look extremely embarrassed. Next to Zhonwen, the blood-red giant sword was broken in the middle, and his left arm was chopped off from the elbow. Lao Snake was the worst sufferer. The huge snake body was chopped into two pieces at the waist. After severely injuring three top warriors of the Wu clan with one sword, Su Junming's strength completely shocked everyone. Zhonwen tried to put his forearm back on. With the tyrannical body of the Wu clan, it was usually very easy. But now the gap is blocked by the sword intention left by Su Junming. Unless the sword intention is erased first, there is no way to recover. The sword intention that has already reached the Tai realm, if you want to clear it out, How can you possibly do it in a short time? The strength accumulated by the academy is not enough now, and the situation in China in Qi County cannot be chaotic. Thinking of this, Su Junming lowered his left sword finger. Looking at the angry looks of the three people. Today is a happy event for the poor Taoist to become a golden immortal. I don't want to cause bloodshed, so I will spare your lives for the time being. With a flick of his fingers, the remaining sword intent dissipated instantly. Si Zhan's sword wound on his chest, Zhong Weng's broken arm, and Lao Shi's snake body recovered quickly. It didn't take long and most of it recovered. He opened his mouth and sucked in, and the blood scattered around him flew into his body. The pale complexion has recovered a lot. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 730. However, although I don't want to cause trouble, if you still don't know how to advance or retreat, don't blame me for being ruthless. Lin Lingsu's face changed slightly and she quickly looked away. Of course he understood that half of these words were meant for him. Although he was unwilling to give in, thinking about the power of the sword just now made him have to suppress the greed in his heart. His eyes slowly swept over everyone. Everyone bowed their heads quickly, no one dared to look directly into his eyes. Even Zhang Xiaoyang, Yang Ye and others are like this. After 3 months, I will preach at Huanglong Mountain outside Bianliang, Tokyo. Anyone who is destined can come and listen. And the poor Taoist will set up a test. Those with a loyal heart can be listed in my door, and those with outstanding talents can get my mantle. As soon as he finished speaking, a sky-blue spiritual light shot up from his body and enveloped Yu Xiang, and the two of them disappeared instantly. Seeing this scene, the expressions of Zhang Xiaoyang and others suddenly changed. The secret technique of Hushan. The 5 elements, wind and thunder, yin and yang and other spiritual energies all have no fluctuations. It must be the secret technique of Hu Tian, Li Wuji said. It seems that Taoist Su is stronger than we thought, Yang Ye said. Imagine the earth-shattering sword blow just now, the expressions of the 4 people became complicated. He turned to look at Lin Lingsu, who looked solemn. Brother Dao Lin, that Taoist Su is a martial arts cultivator, but he is still willing to return the witch god's battle axe. This shows that he is also a righteous person with integrity and perseverance. The fact that someone was left under the sword just now is also clear evidence. In my opinion, Yu Shenxiao Dao should have a good discussion with him and use other treasures to exchange for that Lei Gongbang. What Brother Yang said is absolutely true. Brother Lin Dao, those who understand current affairs are heroes, Zhang Xiaoyang said with a smile. He was the one who least expected Lin Lingsu to get Lei Gongbang. After all, in the current world of spiritual practice, the celestial master Dao suppresses the sect with 2 golden immortals, namely him and the old celestial master Zhang Chongyang. They also possess the innate spiritual treasure dragon and tiger seal, which has been passed down endlessly. Their strength is the highest among all the sects in Qi County and Shenzhou. A leader in Taoism. Shenxiao Dao also has 2 golden immortals, Wang Wenqing and Lin Lingsu, whose strength is second only to Tianqi Dao. If they get the innate spiritual treasure Lei Gongbang again, they can suppress their luck. At that time, he will really have a foundation comparable to Tianqi Dao. If Tianqi Dao is weak in the future, the position of leader of the Taoist sect will fall into the hands of Shenxiao Dao. This is obviously not what Zhang Xiaoyang wants to see. Lin Lingsu is not a fool, but looking at the current situation and thinking about that sword strike just now, Shenxiao Dao has no choice but to think of another way if he wants to get Lei Gonghong back. But for a while, what solution could I come up with? Under the anxiety, I was somewhat distracted. He casually handed over his hands and said goodbye without bothering to respond to Zhang Xiaoyang's sarcasm. He activated the escape light and flew straight towards Junction where Shenxiao Dao was located. What do you think Shenxiao Dao will choose? Zhang Xiaoyang asked, looking at the other person's leaving figure. I don't know. But it's not that easy to let someone give up an innate spiritual treasure. Especially when that person is very powerful, Li Wuji said. There was a pause. But I'm curious about the sermon 3 months later. What? You want to go? Certainly. That Taoist Su has not practiced Chunyang Taoism. But his swordsmanship is better than mine. In Li Wuji's mind, the stunning sword strike from before appeared again. Among them, the sword intent was so strong that he had only seen it in his life. Fellow Taoist Zhang, fellow Taoist Yang, take your leave. Farewell. Li Wuji left in a hurry. The sword strike just now made him feel the urge to comprehend it urgently. Fellow Taoist Yang, where do you want to go? Yang Ye said, I failed to get the dragon bird seal, so I am going to your majesty to apologize. By the way, let's see if we can persuade your majesty to use the treasure to exchange the treasure seal in Su Zhenjun's hand. Then let's part ways. After Yang Ye nodded, will Taoist fellow Zhang attend the sermon in March? Where is fellow Taoist Yang? It's rare to have such a grand event and it's in Bianliang, so why not go? We'll meet again in Bianliang in 3 months. Si Zhan, everyone from the Taoist sect has left. Zhongwen, who was in a depressed mood, reminded him. After Si Zhan nodded, he was about to speak, but stopped when he reached his lips. Amitabha, how are your 3 fellow Taoists? Asked the monk Kong Xiang. Master, I'm worried about you. I'll be fine with you. The Wu clan's strength is the physical body. For ordinary people, a broken hand or leg is an irreparable defect. But their souls and wills filled every trace of their flesh and blood, but they were not seriously injured. That's good. The old monk is ashamed that he failed to help the 3 fellow Taoists regain the witch god's battle axe this time. Master Kong Xiang doesn't need to blame himself. This matter has been full of twists and turns, and I didn't expect it to turn out like this. Since Jin and Liao came closer, in order to protect themselves, Zixia and Nanzao also began to get closer. The Wu clan and Buddhism, representing the 2 countries, naturally became close friends. Although he was dissatisfied with Kong Xiang's action of just standing by and watching. But for the sake of the alliance, I can only suppress my anger. Amitabha, no matter what method Kishendong plans to use to regain the witch god's battle axe, we, Daun Temple, and even Zixia Buddhism are willing to help. Kong Xiang looked determined, as if he was trying to save the witch clan. Si Zhan smiled faintly. He knew that it would be good to listen to such words. If you really believe it, you will definitely be tricked to death by these monks. Thank you, Master. Kong Xiang's eyes flashed. I wonder what Taoist Master Su wants from fellow Taoist Si. How could he actually cause fellow Taoist Master to make a big fuss? It concerns the secrets of our witch clan. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, Si Zhan. Hitting a soft nail, Kong Xiang's expression changed. In that case, I won't ask any more questions. Si Zhan cupped his fists and saluted. Master, we have to go back to southern Xinjiang, so we have to say goodbye this time. Kong Xiang originally planned to chat a few more words to see if he could get out of his mouth, but he didn't know that Cezanne didn't give him a chance at all. If someone wants to leave, he can't stop them. Fellow Taoist, have a good journey. If you need anything, you can send someone to Daun Temple. The old monk will help you. Thank you. After saying that, the 3 of them turned around and left, and the light quickly disappeared into the horizon. Kong Xiang's eyes flickered as he watched the 3 figures walking further and further away. The clouds of Buddha's light spread out again, and the vast sandalwood filled the sky, flying towards the west with great momentum. Watching the movement, I was afraid that people wouldn't know it was him coming. It has to be said that when it comes to the enthusiasm of preaching, Buddhism completely scorns Taoism. If it weren't for the ancient ethnic group that adheres to Taoism, there are numerous talents and too many big bosses, and in the beautiful land of the Central Plains, it would not be the Taoist sect's turn to take the leading role. After the golden immortal monks left, the surrounding monks who came here with various purposes also left in twos and threes. If we say that the vast majority of people were just talking about what they had seen and heard before and the sermon conference held in March, they looked like a bunch of people eating melons and looked excited. Pan Liapo, who was among them, had a much more complicated mood. She knew she had missed a big opportunity. If I had flown there with Yu Xiang just now. A wry smile appeared on his face. A moment of timidity made her hesitate at the critical moment. If she had known that the opponent was so powerful and could even suppress the three generals of the Wu clan working together, she would definitely not have stopped. Unfortunately, there is no regret medicine in the world. She doesn't have the ability to reverse time. Of course, it's not her fault. Anyone who sees 8 golden immortals fighting for the treasure in Qingyang Mountain, and the one who gets the treasure is just a golden immortal who has just passed the tribulation, will probably not get involved. The only thing she missed was that she didn't know how powerful Su Junming was, how powerful he was. In just 3 days, what happened in Qingyang Mountain spread all over the world. Chongshan Zhenjun Su Junming and the sermon meeting at Huanglong Mountain outside Bianliang City after March became the talk of the entire spiritual world after dinner. Countless people who wanted to see this master of both martial arts and martial arts, who could subdue the 3 witch generals of the Nanzhao Kingdom's witch clan once he advanced, rushed towards Huanglong Mountain. For a time, the Huanglong Mountain sermon became a major event in the spiritual world comparable to the Longquan Grand Meeting held once in 900 years in the Yellow Emperor's immortal courtyard. Chongshan residence is located on the spiritual island in the center of the creation spirit pond in the backyard. Su Junming put his hands behind his back and looked up at the giant tree in front of him that was more than 100 feet tall, with pavilions-like canopies, covering 1,000 acres, wide and thick branches and leaves, and a purple color. Chi La, several arcs of electricity flew out from the tree. Soon it dissipated in mid-air. A slightly illusory figure walked out from behind the tree. You are really lucky. In a few years, you have obtained another top-quality fairy root, and it is also a rare thunder spiritual root, Ao Tian said. Su Junming smiled lightly, I didn't expect it at first. This purple thunder Qiao spiritual root was originally just a giant tree that was 100 feet long and 10 feet thick. It is the treasure of the One Yuan divine wooden array among the 5 major arrays, which is sealed underground in Yuejia town. After getting it, he was not short of immortal weapons, so he directly used the spiritual energy of creation to restore the vitality in the giant tree. After more than 10 years, it grew into the top-quality spiritual root that is now full of vitality. Moreover, it is also a rare innate thunder attribute immortal root. And thanks to the high-quality creation spirit energy in the creation spirit pool, this purple thunder Qiao has gradually become more advanced. After examining it for a moment, Su Junming took a step forward, and with a flash of light in front of his eyes, he came to the garden road paved with blue stones. At this moment, the spiritual roots of the purple thunder Qiao, which once stood at more than 100 branches and covered nearly 1,000 acres of tree canopy, have turned into a fruit tree 3 to 4 meters high and as thick as a bowl. Obviously, this is a means of transforming space. There was a flash of light, and Ao Tian followed. If you don't move the universe around in the Chongshan world, transform the energy of acquired chaos, and expand the world, why do you come here to me? Don't say you don't know why I came. Si Shaiji. Ao Tian nodded simply. This is a warrior general of the witch clan whose physical cultivation is almost at its peak. Although he has been sealed away for many years and has suffered a huge deficit, as long as he is given a chance, it will take him hundreds of years to recover. Such a great coolie, if he can't be used by me, wouldn't it be a waste? Seeing his excited look, Su Junming said lightly, you really do everything you can. That's wrong. I don't need you. The improvement of strength can only be achieved by the growth of Chongshan world. In your eyes, Shaiji may be just a warrior of the Wu clan who has been sealed for many years and is not what he used to be. But in my eyes, it is indeed a great tonic elixir. If he joins, the speed of refining the acquired chaotic energy will exceed that of 1,000 xian. If it were you, would you look at such a treasure and be indifferent? Of course Su Junming would not. I am keeping him in White Tiger Palace, you can pick him up yourself. Haha, then I'm not welcome. He was about to leave, but he quickly stopped. My lord, it is not easy to cultivate a golden immortal. Each one consumes countless spiritual energy and origins in the world to create. Therefore, if it is not necessary, do not kill them. Capture them and give them to me. I can maximize their effectiveness. I know. Go ahead. After the explanation, Ao Tian left. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 731. After Ao Tian left, Su Junming came to the pavilion beside the creation spirit pond and sat down cross-legged. With a wave of his hand, 4 treasures appeared in front of him. A piece of purple jade the size of a sea bowl, filled with rich pure yang energy. A dragon bird is used as a button, with a square shape and a large bronze seal. Plus the witch god battle axe and thunder god bang. All the treasures in Qingyang mountain fell into his hands. Purple jade contains the pure innate Taishi pure yang essence and is an innate pure yang spiritual object. It is 2 levels better than the 1,000-year-old warm jade lotus that was nurtured by the sun in the Kangmang mountain of Shu mountain. A 1,000-year-old jade warming lotus can be made into a middle-grade immortal weapon, and this pure yang purple jade can be made into a pure yang fairy weapon with perfect 12 prohibitions in Su Junming's hands. However, this thing is of no use to him, and he will probably use it as a reward to his disciples in the future. He stretched out his hand and the copper seal fell into his palm. This 3-foot square seal has 2 rock heads, bird bodies, eagle claws, and dragon tails mating with each other. Their bodies are facing each other, shaped like a handle with a narrow bottom and a wide top. Further down, the 4 sides are smooth, with only 4 characters etched on the ground. Dragon Bird Seal. This treasure contains 12 prohibitions and is a top-quality fairy weapon that conforms to the way of the Earth Emperor. This was the first time that Su Junming encountered the ultimate immortal weapon of the Earth Emperor Dao. With his spiritual consciousness immersed, he could clearly see a bright yellow dragon lying in the middle of the treasure seal. Earth Vein Dragon Qi. At the beginning, Su Junming did not expect that there was actually an Earth Vein Dragon energy hidden in the Dragon Bird Seal. The dragon energy of Earth Veins is the essence of the earth and the carrier of dynasty's luck. For any human emperor, Earth Vein Dragon energy is an indispensable treasure and the foundation for maintaining the stability of the dynasty. After pondering for a moment, he reached out and made a move. Accompanied by King Yu's dragon chant, the dragon energy of the Earth's veins flew into the palm of his hand, countless eclipse texts flashed, and various prohibitions followed, and a bright yellow ball the size of a goose egg gradually emerged. After sealing it temporarily, he put it into the gourd at his waist. Why don't you give this dragon bird seal to me? Man, you've already got it, why haven't you left yet? Ao Tian sat down next to him. Haha, I was about to leave. Suddenly I remembered that there is still a treasure I haven't given you. Glanced at him. It's a treasure, are you willing to give it to me? Look what you said, you are me, and what's mine is yours. Ao Tian slapped the gourd on his waist, and a stream of light flew out. Feeling the powerful King Mu's spiritual energy in it, Su Junming said softly and turned his head to look over. The light dissipated, and a small tree planted in a stone basin came into view. This small tree is only 2 feet tall. Although it is short, it has dry stems and branches, giving it a majestic and vast atmosphere. The leaves are like jasper, long and narrow in shape, faintly reflecting light. The branches are dark green, thick and condensed, as if the aura of greenwood has been concentrated to the extreme. Innate greenwood aura, is this innate spiritual root? Su Junming said in surprise. Haha, that's right. After the world of Chongshan advanced 100 years ago, didn't you use the divine ball of heaven to make a hexagram for it? I followed the hexagram and found a building 30 million miles in size. Because of the advance, the top-tier small thousand world has failed and has entered a period of decline. It took nearly 100 years to finally subdue and refine it. But unfortunately, in order to advance, the world entered the age of ending Dharma thousands of years ago. The practice has not survived and the foundation is weak. However, there are a lot of people among them, as many as hundreds of billions, and there are many talents among them. With some training, many outstanding talents will surely emerge. Ao Tian smiled continuously, obviously this harvest made him extremely satisfied. Su Junming looked at the spiritual roots in the basin. This treasure comes from that world. Yes. This treasure is called Bai Ling Luo. It is a low-grade innate spiritual root. It blooms once every 300 years, bears fruit once every 300 years, and matures in another 300 years. You can get 3,000 Biluo coins in one season. Ao Tian flicked his fingers, and a faint spiritual light bloomed, and a spiritual fruit the size of a wash basin, green in color, and shaped like an citrus appeared in front of him. If this treasure is planted on your creation spirit island and nurtured by the creation spirit, there is no chance that you will have the opportunity to advance to the middle level in the future. Innate spiritual roots are different from innate spiritual treasures. Although both are treasures generated by heaven and earth, innate spiritual roots are born with spirituality that spiritual treasures do not have. As long as enough spiritual energy is gathered or a spiritual machine is created, there is the possibility of advancement. It's just that this possibility is very slim, and it has to be a unique miracle, otherwise it will be difficult to achieve. Moreover, even if you don't advance, you can shorten the time for this baby to bear fruit. Enough spiritual energy can shorten the time it takes for a spiritual fruit to mature. 900 years to mature is just an average. The specifics depend on personal cultivation. Su Junming stretched out his hand and Bai Ling Luo flew into his palm. After looking at it, a look of satisfaction appeared on his face. For someone who likes to collect various spiritual roots, this innate spiritual root is undoubtedly very appetizing. More importantly, with it, you can refine better elixirs to assist in your practice. Including the 3-color flat peach, 7-star red fruit, 3-grade red lotus, and innate white plum tree that I got earlier, this is the 5th innate spiritual root I got. Unfortunately, they are all low grade, and there is no middle grade one. Su Junming Heartway. The difference in efficacy between the middle grade innate spiritual roots and the low grade innate spiritual roots is just like the difference between the middle grade innate spiritual treasures and the low grade innate spiritual treasures. Those are two different classes of things. If it is a spiritual fruit produced by a middle grade innate spiritual root, it can completely refine a Tai level elixir. He shook his head and calmed down. One should not be too greedy as a person. The innate spiritual roots he has accumulated in his hands have already surpassed countless people. Middle grade innate spiritual roots will naturally appear in the future. Zizi. A purple spiritual light flew out from the creation spirit island and landed on the ground, turning into a young man wearing a purple waistcoat, purple shorts, bare feet, and a Ganoderma lucidum crown on his head. A small medicine basket hung on the boy's left waist, and a small purple medicine hoe hung on his right waist. With his cultivation, he is already a true immortal. Zizi pays homage to master and fourth uncle. Zizi is an elf transformed from a 1,000-year-old purple Ganoderma lucidum. She is also the first elf in Su Junming's elixir garden and has followed him since Uncle Ju's world. For many years, he has been leading nearly 1,000 elves on the creation spirit island, working diligently and hard without complaint, taking care of hundreds of thousands of herbs and spiritual roots on the Spirit Island. Later, after he overcame the tribulation and became an immortal, Su Junming accepted him as his named disciple. It can be regarded as a reward for his efforts over the years. Get up. Su Junming's magic power brought by Ling Luo to Zizi. This is the innate spiritual root your fourth uncle brought back. You can take it to the island and plant it? Ziji's eyes lit up. Her innate spiritual roots were no better than others, and the Tao contained within them was the best teacher for elves like them who practiced the Aoki way. Moreover, the innate spiritual root contains the innate greenwood spiritual energy and contains the cardinals of good fortune. If we stay together for a long time, we will naturally be nourished by it. In short, there are many benefits. He quickly took it with both hands. Disciple, obey. Go ahead. After Zizi bowed and saluted, she escaped back to the Creation Spirit Island. How about it? It's not a loss to use one of my innate spiritual roots to give you a top-grade immortal weapon, right? Su Junming said calmly, wrong. This is your reward for taking Si Shaiji away. You want this dragon bird seal? No. The corner of Ao Tian's mouth twitched, and he felt extremely regretful. Why didn't you ask for this dragon bird seal just now? Seeing his depressed look, the corners of Su Junming's mouth turned up. A small thousand world should have 3 innate spiritual treasures. After deducting this by Ling Luo, there are still 2 more. Moreover, with your current ability, even a low-grade innate spiritual treasure with 12 innate spiritual prohibitions is not enough for you. You're not much use either. I'm useless, but I still have disciples, Ao Tian said angrily. The biggest function of the innate spiritual treasure is to inherit and suppress luck. If it is only used to fight bravely and fiercely, what is the difference between it and a top-quality fairy weapon? After finishing his words, Su Junming spread his palms. Bring it here. Sighed. I knew I couldn't escape. However, in addition to the dragon bird seal, you also have to give me a top-grade immortal weapon of the Emperor's way as compensation. I can also reward my disciples in the future. After Su Junming nodded, he waved his hand to indicate to hurry up. 2 rays of light, one red and one blue, flew out from the green gourd beside Ao Tian. After the spiritual light dispersed, a fiery red triangular flag and a blue bead the size of a fist appeared in mid-air. The triangular flag is embroidered with the sacred bird Suzaku on both sides, surrounded by divine fire and rolling flames. It is obviously an innate spiritual treasure with the attribute of fire. There is water vapor surrounding the blue bead, and the sound of rising tides can be vaguely heard. It is obviously an innate waterway treasure. Su Junming showed a hint of disappointment on his face. It's the 5 elements attribute again. The 5 elements are the foundation of the world. More than 70% of the innate spiritual treasures bred in the small thousand worlds are all 5 elements attributes. The remaining 20% are likely to be wind, thunder, and yin and yang. As for the rarer attributes of space, time, and swallowing, not even 10% of them are. Arrive. Su Junming nodded, he also knew that he was a little greedy. Unless you have a great opportunity, or like him, you have already understood the Tao of space, swallowing, soul, etc. to a very high level, regard your own way as the way of heaven, and then go to open up a small world. Otherwise, it would be difficult to breed innate spiritual treasures with rare attributes. He picked up the red fire pennant and looked at it. After a moment of reflection, he then looked at the blue spirit bead. He frowned. Why are there only 6 innate spiritual restraints? The original source is insufficient, so naturally we can only create such an innate spiritual treasure. Fortunately, this Suzaku spirit flag is the top low-grade innate spiritual treasure of the 12 spiritual taboos. Su Junming nodded. After playing with it for a while, he threw it away and the blue spirit bead disappeared in a flash. At the same time, the 3 divine gates flew away. What, you plan to use the innate immortal aura of the tide bead to practice the Sankei divine sect? Su Junming nodded. Since his Tiangong divine furnace advanced to the middle level, he has the ability to cultivate lower-level innate spiritual treasures. Of course, it is difficult for a clever woman to make a meal without rice. If you want to refine the innate spiritual treasure, you must have the innate immortal spiritual light. Otherwise, even with the power of the Tiangong divine furnace, it would be impossible to refine the innate spiritual treasure. My 3 talents divine sect now each has 10 innate spiritual restraints, and this tide pearl only has 6, which can be used to supplement my 3 talents divine section, Su Junming said. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 732. I knew this would happen a long time ago. But you have to refine this tidal bead into an immortal weapon for me so that I can reward it to my disciples in the future. After Su Junming nodded, he put the vermilion bird flag into his green gourd. At the same time, a spiritual light flew out. Soon, a stone mirror with 8 trigrams engraved on its back appeared in front of Ao Tian. With a wave of his hand, the vermilion bird seal fell into his hand. This stone mirror is called the Bagwaruyi mirror. It is a top-quality celestial artifact that I refined using the spiritual materials obtained from Yuejia town. It contains 12 celestial beings and is suitable for entrusting the laws of the Emperor's Tao. Haha, yes, yes. The immortal weapon you personally practiced is indeed extraordinary. Are you going to give them to Li Jinchen and Nangong Ling? Ao Tian nodded. They are the 3rd generation first disciples of my section. Now they are ahead of all my fellow sects and have advanced to the true immortal realm. Naturally, they are the most qualified to enjoy these 2 treasures. Under his sect, Shang Taijin inherited the Emperor's way, and Pan now inherited the Earth's Emperor's way. Li Jinchen is Shang Taijin's first disciple, and Nangong Ling is Pan Nao's first disciple. With a finger, the spiritual light turned into forbidden runes, including the Bagwaruyi mirror and the dragon bird seal. Most of the aura on both of them disappeared in an instant. To avoid being coveted by others, I added 2 layers of seals on it. When they reach their cultivation level, the seal will be released by itself. Ao Tian nodded. This is also what it should be. The 2 top-grade immortal weapons were too high-grade for Li Jinchen and Nangong Ling, who had just advanced to become true immortals, and were difficult to control. How are the people in Yimei? With the hope of living, both Jinmei and Qi Shuming are very honest. Now they are running cardinals in the Emperor's Tower, contributing to the growth of Chongshan world. Where are Li Jingxiu, Kuzu, and the others? At first, I realized that the place I ascended to was not the spiritual realm as expected, and there was a fuss for a while. Later, I saw that the spiritual energy here was rich and I could continue to improve my cultivation, so I accepted it. After a pause, Ao Tian showed a look of anticipation on his face. My dear, I have finished digesting the world of chiming. You can use the divine ball of heaven to calculate again and see where I should go next. Is this the main purpose of your visit? Haha, I am also considering the growth of Chongshan world. Su Junming shook his head. You'd better digest the chiming world. 100 years is not enough to fully assimilate the hundreds of billions of people. When will the system of Chongshan Academy fully incorporate them? And after completing the complete change from words to thoughts and beliefs, it's not too late to pursue the next world. Just leave this kind of thing to your disciples. There is no need to waste my time. Su Junming shook his head again. No, you know how much vitality it consumes for me to make one calculation. Now that the layout of China in Qi County has reached a critical stage, there will be golden immortals interfering at any time and at any time, or even more than one. If I can't take action and only Tai is left, it is difficult to support a tree alone, and it may even be dangerous. There was a pause. Ao Tian, don't forget, Chixian Shenzhou is the place we should pay most attention to. Taking this place is better than dozens of small worlds. Ao Tian also knew the priorities, and after a brief consideration, he nodded. Forget it, just wait a little longer. Huanglong Mountain is a low mountain about 100 miles away from Bianliang, the capital of the Song dynasty. Rumor has it that tens of thousands of years ago, this place was also a fertile wilderness. Later, a yellow dragon hundreds of miles away caused trouble, driving the water of the Bian River to flood the surrounding area for thousands of miles. The people were displaced and wailed everywhere. At that time, the Song dynasty had not succeeded the Xia dynasty, and the Xia Emperor Yuan Shi was furious and sent his general Chen Zhigong to kill the dragon. One man and one demon fought for 3 days and 3 nights. Chen Zhigong fought hard to be seriously injured and killed the rebellious Huanglong with his sword. The dragon's head fell and turned into a 300-mile Huanglong mountain. Because this mountain is transformed from a corpse, miasma often appears in the mountain. Although it is not a barren mountain and bad water, it is not a blessed place with beautiful mountains and rivers. Therefore, there are no monks staying there. The only mountain temple has long been abandoned because no one worshipped it. On this day, a team of chariots and horses came out of Tokyo Bianliang, the first city in the world that covers an area of millions of acres, where dragons and tigers are roosting, and the purple air covers tens of thousands of miles. After traveling for 30 miles, we left the main road and headed towards Huanglong Mountain. It can be seen that although these people are dressed in ordinary clothes, their aura is rich and gorgeous, which is obviously not ordinary. Especially the warriors guarding the left and right, all of them are tall and strong, with domineering and abundant energy and blood hidden in their bodies, their eyes are shining, and their aura is full of fierceness and bravery. Such powerful warriors guarding the left and right are definitely not available to ordinary people. General Yang Ye, who had been walking at the front, rode his horse to the carriage frame. The officials are summoning the ministers. What's the matter? How far is this place from Huanglong Mountain? Yang Ye's consciousness swept away. We'll be back at Guan's house in about 70 miles. 70 miles. So it's not far. A soft and charming woman's voice sounded. Your Majesty, if you want to play with me again, it will take an hour to ride a horse for 70 miles. Yang Ye, who was standing outside, frowned for a moment. He wanted to speak several times, but he held it back. My beloved, don't be anxious. I'll go out and take a look first, and I'll be with you later. Your Majesty, hurry up. Haha, I got it. Snapped. Your Majesty is so evil. Yang Ye's eyes showed anger. He snorted coldly, turned his horse and ran forward. After a while, the thick car banner was lifted, and a middle-aged man with fair complexion wearing a purple robe and a jade crown walked out. Seeing Yang Ye leaving on his own, a cold look flashed in his eyes. This old thief is so bold, he dares to ignore me. An invisible barrier enveloped the carriage, and no sound was heard. Officials should be careful. General Yang is the general who ruled the country left by His Majesty Teju. I, the great pillar of the Song dynasty, will not be treated lightly. Next to the carriage, an old man wearing a brown robe, with a thin face and a long beard on his chin said slowly. Huitsong Zhaoji suddenly turned around and said angrily. Does Prime Minister Cai also want to look down on me? I don't dare, old minister. Seeing his respectful attitude, Zhaoji's color brightened a little. I'm sorry you don't dare either. Turning his head to look at the majestic figure in front of him, Zhaoji showed an angry look on his face again. It's just that Yang Ye is really hateful. Since he returned from Immortal Court 5 years ago, he has used Teju's name to oppress me several times. It's really hateful. There was a pause. Xiang Cai, you have always been known for your resourcefulness. Is there any way to remove this stumbling block for me? General Yang's cultivation has reached the golden immortal realm. There are people in the world who can surpass him, but we may not be able to recruit him. Zhao Ji frowned and nodded. Although his cultivation level is sparse, he has only achieved innate perfection so far. But he also knows what the golden immortal represents. It is absolutely no joke that one person controls a country. It's a pity that Teju, the old man, has been in seclusion in the immortal court in order to seek a breakthrough. Otherwise, I could have asked him to send Yang Ye back with the handwriting, which would have saved me the trouble. Don't worry, officials. Although His Majesty Teju is in seclusion, you have forgotten that there is a truly powerful man in the Huanglong mountain in front of you. Looking at the numerous mountain shadows in the distance, Zhao Ji's eyes lit up. I'm really riding a donkey looking for a horse. Since the true monarch of Chongshan can defeat the three great witch generals of Nanzhao Kingdom, he can naturally also suppress Yang Ye. Frowning slightly. It's just that Lord Chongshan has such a high level of cultivation that it would be troublesome to ask him to take action. Quan family, this is easy. How to say? The purpose of this true monarch of Chongshan opening a forum to teach the Dharma must be to establish a section in that case. Why doesn't your Majesty follow the example of Teju's story? Zhao Ji's eyes lit up. Thousands of years ago, the story of Zhao Kuangyan, Teju of the Song dynasty, lost 3 games of chess and lost Mount Huashan, one of the 5 mountains, to Fueao Zichen Chuan's ancestor. This story is widely circulated in the spiritual world. It is a pity that although Patriarch Chen Chuan has a high level of cultivation and has ascended thousands of years ago, few of his disciples have become successful. So over the years, although the Huashan sect is still the backbone of the Taoist sect, because there is no golden immortal in charge, its prestige has always been lower than that of the Tianqi Tao, Chuanyang sect, Kongtong sect, and Shenxiao Tao. Sure enough, Prime Minister Cai is worthy of being an old man in planning for the country, Zhao Ji said happily. Your Majesty, thank you. Cai Jing smiled calmly, a glimmer of light flashing in his eyes. He holds great power and does not want Yang Ye to hold him back. As for whether the Song dynasty would fall without him, the general who ruled the country, Cai Jing was not worried at all. As long as Song Teju, who lived in the immortal court and was in charge of tens of thousands of heavenly soldiers in the Yellow Emperor's immortal domain, was there, the rule of the Song dynasty would be as stable as a rock. This time I came to Huanglong Mountain, I was just to get back the dragon bird seal from the Chongshan Taoist, but now it seems that there are more things, Zhao Ji said with a smile. The officials worked hard for our Song dynasty and took care of everything every day. They really set an example for all the people in the world. Even if the humble ministers are afraid of being ruined, they will never be as good as your Majesty. These flattering words made Zhao Ji burst out laughing. Judging from his complacent look, he obviously approves of it. The carriages and horses moved forward and soon arrived at the foot of Huanglong Mountain. Zhao Ji, who had finished discussing with Cai Jing, stood on the carriage and looked at the lush and vibrant mountains in front of him. Is this Huanglong Mountain? Although Yang Ye looked down upon the greedy, lustful, fatuous, and incompetent Daijun emperor of the Song dynasty, he still maintained the basic courtesy of a courtier. Back to the official's house, exactly. Isn't it rumored that Huanglong Mountain is filled with miasma and is a barren mountain? It doesn't look like it when you look at it. As the saying goes, mountains are not high, they are famous if they have immortals. The true Lord Chongshan has a Taoist golden immortal. As his Taoist temple, Huanglong Mountain will naturally gather spiritual energy and make the sea and rivers clear. The land filled with miasma will turn into pure Taoist holy land full of energy, Yang Ye said. So this Lord Chongshan is indeed a Taoist master. What the officials say is absolutely true. True monarch Chongshan can defeat the 3 witch generals of Nanzhao in one go. He is extremely powerful. I ask the officials and family members to show their respect and do not neglect him. Don't worry, General, I'm awake. There was a pause. General Yang? I heard what you said just now. It seems that you have great respect for Mr. Su. Exactly. Then compared with your strength, Which one is stronger or weaker? I feel ashamed to say it. I have been practicing hard for nearly 10,000 years, and now I am only in the early stage of Golden Immortal. My strength is no more than that of Zhong Wen, the sorcerer general of Nanzhao. The true king of Chongshan is stronger than Si Zhan, Zhong Wen, and Lai Shi. My three witches are naturally far more powerful than me. Yang Ye said in a respectful tone. I see. Zhao Ji smiled faintly and turned to look at Huanglong Mountain ahead. General Yang, where is true monarch Chongshan? How can we pay our respects? Feeling the overwhelming aura on the main peak of Huanglong Mountain, Yang Yedao had experienced it once a long time ago. The true king will be doing his cultivation at the main peak of Huanglong Mountain, and the ministers will be escorted there by the officials. It's not necessary for General to take action. He glanced at Cai Jing, who was accompanying the carriage. The latter waved his sleeves and lifted up the carriage with a powerful force. General Yang, please lead the way. Looking at Cai Jing, who was smiling, Yang Ye frowned. Although the prime minister of the Song dynasty was very respectful to him, Yang Ye always felt that he was wearing a mask that was difficult to see through. Hard to truly trust. After nodding slightly, Yang Ye urged the yellow gelding under his crotch, accompanied by a long neigh. This fairy beast kept in captivity in the fairy garden spread its hooves, white clouds rose under its feet, and it flew towards the mountain. Cai Jing held the carriage, and the imperial guards guarding him followed closely behind.